What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Scene Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Borek, and we're doing things a little different today. Where usually I'd have you all listening to a conversation with me and a wonderful, brilliant playwright. Instead, I'm here with three wonderful, brilliant content creators. I'm so excited because not only are we not talking about, just a couple of their plays or their catalog or what this playwright's done, we are breaking down the Tony Award nominations. We are talking all about them. I brought my three friends with hot takes, opinionated, brilliant, awesome content creators. You might actually know them, Ashley Hufford, Maggie Hill, Liz Gutridge. They're all over Instagram and TikTok talking about their feelings on Broadway and beyond, and that's exactly what we are doing here today. I'm excited to see what we all say. I have no idea what we're all gonna say. Wait, okay, I'm gonna do your long bios, and then we'll talk like friends. Okay. Okay. Ashley Hufford is a producer, writer, influencer known for her hot takes and taking us on her journey seeing theater all the time. She has raked up millions of views and hundreds of thousands of followers, giving us fresh takes on the newest shows in and out of New York, exploring with the world of theater. As a writer and producer, she's worked for Red, Wine, and Blue, Bleacher Report, Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, crazy, the New Victory Theater, and so many more, and graced us all with her wonderful theater and Broadway hot takes and beyond. Maggie Hill is a director, writer, producer, content creator, creating content for both Arts Insider, New York Theater Guide, and themselves. Maggie has amassed a following seeing theater and film, finding viewers by creating and exploring different experimental and academic takes on media they see. I thought that was a good sentence.
Thank you so much. That was really beautiful.
Thank you. As a writer, I love Maggie and found this while researching. They've written editorially and also some wonderful creative writing hidden that I have recently read, like a wonderful site-specific Romeo and Juliet called A Like in Dignity, which I did read an excerpt of and I loved very much. I really love site-specific theater. It made me really happy. Maggie's an incredibly accomplished creative and digital entertainment guide, and we are so lucky to have them here today. And Liz Gutridge, Elizabeth Gutridge, what's your name? Liz Gutridge is a performer and social media content creator, best known for her role as Carrie in Carrie the Musical that amassed her a massive following on TikTok. Since then, she created the series Hot Girl Plays, which has gained millions of views and have helped her grow the followings, helped her grow her following, as well as the followings of plays like John Proctor's The Villain, Joan of Arc and the Supermarket in California, and How to Defend Yourself. As a performer, Liz was most recently seen as Vicky in one of the first U.S. productions of Everybody's Talking About Jamie, where she fucking killed, and will soon be journeying to Oklahoma Shakespeare Festival to play Casey in First Date the Musical and Cordelia in King Lear. This episode, final thing I'm going to say, this episode marks Liz's fourth time on the Scene podcast, making her the guest with the most appearances so far in the show. So a huge round of applause to all of you, but especially Liz for taking that award away from, I don't know.
I'm a veteran. Who has...
I will say, it's KJ's technically... Well, KJ's not a guest.
Yeah.
KJ's been on every episode. But yeah, how is everybody?
Good.
So good.
Good?
It's been a fun week, which I was very anxious this week. I woke up yesterday at like 5:30 in the morning, just like bolted awake, like feeling nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
Again, why? I don't know. I have no stake in this.
I was gonna say, was it because of the nominations?
Oh yeah, no, totally because of them. I've been anxious about the nominations all week.
Yeah.
Even though
I walked into the room yesterday before we watched the noms, and you walked in and you're like, Maggie, I'm so nervous. I'm so stressed.
Why? I don't know. I was not Tony eligible yesterday. I felt like I was.
I was gonna say,
well be.
I did not see your name on the list. I'm so worried.
So sorry. You were robbed.
That's the real snub.
Snubbed.
That's the snub that we're talking
Snub
about.
of the season, Ashley Hufford for what?
For
all
what?
the shows,
For
theater.
everything.
For it.
Oh my God, best new play,
Best
Ashley
featured
Hufford's
actor in a
TikTok.
play.
So yeah, usually when we record this podcast, we record like episodes like months in advance with playwrights. We are recording this 24 hours out from the nominations, and it's going to be going out like 24 hours from when we record, basically. So thank you, KJ, for the fast turnaround. But yeah, we have so much to talk about. I wanted to start this episode off with a question that doesn't have to do with the nominations that we're going to primarily be talking about. What I learned going through the nominations is all of my feelings and thoughts and snubs, and it made me think of all of the snubs and all of my feelings in the last 10 years, 20 years of Tony noms. So the first question, we have a presentation. I made a little presentation, but none of you listeners will see it. It's primarily for us to be able to reference. Thank you.
Really pretty.
I've worked
Graphic design
really
is his
hard on it.
passion.
Graphic design is my passion.
Hey, that Arial font is gorgeous.
Wow.
I just wanted something bold and big to kind
Wow,
of
did you
show
use a
who I
template
am.
with that?
Okay,
Wow.
okay. The bit's gone far enough to hurt my feelings. Okay, I wanted to ask though, what is a Tony's Hill that you will die on? What is something, any Tony's year, it doesn't have to be this year, some like Tony snub, a Tony win, anything like that is like a hill you will die on that maybe a lot of people maybe don't agree with. My personal one, I sent it to you all yesterday. I personally, and I will die on this hill, I really do think Grey House should have been nominated for Best Play.
I don't even think that's a hot take. I loved Grey House.
Really?
I saw Grey House 3 times.
That makes
loved
me feel
Grey
so
House.
much better. I've brought this up before, and people have like hated me for
Oh, no.
it.
I think horror is just an underrated genre, and
That's
people don't
the
take it
scary one.
seriously. Yeah.
No, I think the problem.
Maggie's like,
the
Maggie has
scary
no idea what
one.
we're talking
I
about.
have no. All I know is that literally yesterday, Liz was like, "Justin went to see this play and was so afraid."
Yeah.
No,
Wait,
He
which
was
play?
very Grey House.
Oh,
You
yeah,
were terrified.
I was scared,
But
but
like,
I loved
I
it.
actually
Scary.
don't think, like, my hot take is that I don't think Grey House was like scary enough for people that like wanted. Like, I think they
Yes.
promoted it too scary.
I mean, they
Yeah.
filleted
When
a guy on stage for sure.
Well, if you sit far enough back, it looks real.
Yeah.
I feel like
Right.
it looked
But what I more mean is I feel like it's more of a thrill, like a psychological
Yes,
thriller than like
absolutely. Yeah.
horror.
It's like an
So I-
A24 movie.
Right. So I think
Yeah.
people that went in wanting like to be terrified, like there's a
Yes.
few jump scares, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah, absolutely.
ultimately it's more like a psychological thriller, which I think is a different mindset than going in expecting horror.
Yeah. But I think
Yeah.
Tatiana Maslany was
Oh my God.
like raw.
So
God, she
good.
was so good in that.
She was great.
I
Paul
love
Sparks was.
her.
I'm a huge Paul Sparks
my
girly,
God,
especially
yeah.
if you saw Grangeville. Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Like
And Laurie Metcalf, obviously.
yeah, and all of the
Obviously.
girls.
All the
all of
girls.
them. Oh, so
What's
good.
her name? The girl from Quiet Place. She was so good.
Yeah, it's funny because I've talked about this. We were talking about a best ensemble Tony. Like, what would that look like at some point? Because it's a conversation I have all the time.
Yeah.
And I would always bring up Grey House as like, if I have a best ensemble Tony, like it needs to exist just for shows like Grey House.
Yeah.
To be like that ensemble deserved a
They worked
Tony
so
for their
well.
So messed
collective.
up.
My favorite part of Grey House is when, after like the first like 20 minutes of the play, just an old woman comes out
Yes.
from the top of the fridge.
That's the
There's
best
like
part.
a little like
Oh.
black opening above the fridge where like people would
Okay.
put like cereal or whatever, like where
Yeah.
you would like store it in an apartment, and like there's stuff up there and someone pulls it. I think like Paul Sparks' character like pulls it down and like turns around and then like opens the fridge and there's all these like weird jars of like random liquid and you're like looking at that, you're not thinking, and then some old woman who's contorted above the fridge just like crawls out.
Love
Well,
that.
and also because it's like a light trick because the stage is so dark and then the fridge light like gets your eyes to like so that you really can't see it, so like it extra makes it creepy. It's
Yeah.
like a very cool. So before Grey House came out, I was invited to like their launch event and he was there giving like a talk and he's like an identical twin and he was like, all of my plays come from like my nightmares that I have, and he was like telling us this crazy story, and I was like, dude, you are the weirdest person. He also like he was like, I don't know what horrible experience, but he's like, I went through this like very big trauma with all this grief, and I was like, I need your life story.
Okay, other Tony Hills that people will die on.
I have one.
Give
I
me
thought
it.
of it this morning and it made me angry.
Hell yeah.
It was it 2020 the year where it was the pandemic ones?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Is
they
that
were
the one
like,
where
Aaron
Aaron
Tveit
Tveit was the
gets
only
it.
nominated
Okay,
lead?
he was the only nominated, and you know who else was available? Chris McCarroll from the Lightning Thief musical,
Oh,
in
yeah.
which he rules.
Lightning
Was that on
Thief got
Broadway?
nothing. Yeah,
It got
went
nothing.
to Broadway.
It was
got
on Broadway
nothing.
that year.
Wait, I didn't even know it was on.
It had like
Broadway.
a
I mean, it was
couple month.
It was like
situation.
it was kind of what they're doing with like Mamma Mia, what they did with The Wiz,
Oh, yeah.
where it was like a tour and then it did like a stop.
On
Broadway.
But
Yeah.
he was available.
He was
and
available.
instead,
Yeah,
they
he
were
was
like,
great.
we're only going to nominate one man.
That's so
weird.
And
weird.
I'm a big Chris McCarroll fan. I think he is a wonderful performer.
He was in Les Mis,
And-
right?
Yes.
Yes.
And the way that he talks about the use of the voice in Purpose of Emotional Stance is so cool. He has
Yeah.
great TikToks, everybody.
Oh,
Fun
I was
fact
gonna
about
say,
Chris
I've seen
McCarroll.
his
TikTok.
Controversial TikToks.
I love
He
her.
likes
Little
he likes to
TikToks.
get into it with people.
I
But
love
I
it.
also I love the way that he will break down other people's
100%.
performances and
Yeah.
talk about the way they're using their voice. And I was like, give this man something.
Yeah.
Let
So
him win.
true.
Yeah, they
Let
had
him
to,
be
they had to
there.
I
vote
didn't know
Aaron
that.
Tveit yes or no, which I think is the funny that they
No,
one
it was the first ever pass-fail Tony.
literally and
Yeah.
literally the,
So
I
funny.
think it'd been funnier if they'd been like no
Was
one
that
wins the
his first
Tony.
Tony?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait, was it
that
really his first
sucks.
Yes.
Tony?
That's like
That's
a,
part of the reason. I honestly think he won like
Yeah.
as like a Aaron
But I'm
Tveit
just
legacy
saying,
Tony.
like
Let
a-
this man, let Chris McCarroll be there.
Just give him a
In a way,
nomination.
I don't disagree. I just think it's like it just makes
That's so funny.
that whole year makes me laugh because like to me that's like that was Six's Tony to lose.
Yeah.
And they didn't open, so they didn't get to it. And then by the time they did open, it had been like so long and
Yeah.
so many things had happened. And like that
my
was
gosh.
anyway.
Yeah.
Moulin Rouge won that year because of there was 4 options.
I recently learned that there's a Lorde song in Moulin Rouge.
Correct.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wait, there's a Lord
What
song.
song?
in the
There
movie?
is. They sing Royals.
I've
Second,
never
third song in the
seen-
show.
I
Can I
haven't
say
seen it
something?
either.
I haven't
and
seen
I'm
it.
going to say that was a terrifying thing to learn. because my friend posted and they were like, "Oh, 2 Lord things on Broadway right now," and I was like, "John Proctor and what?"
And what are,
I
what
would
are
know.
you be
Yeah,
talking
John Proctor
about?
is in fact not Lord's Broadway debut. It is
It is Moulin Rouge.
Man.
It's the third song in the show. So they do the opening big number of like whatever, and then they do Can Can, and then they go to the Montmartre, and they're like in the it's
And then they do Royals
Because-
by Lord.
yes, because
what I said.
well, think about it. It's all the poor people, the poor artists, bohemians,
Yeah.
and they're talking, and he's like, "I've never seen a diamond in the flesh."
That's just a crazy move.
Oh, don't
But
ruin
I will
Lord,
tell you, the
please.
one time I've ever gotten yelled at in a theater was the first time I saw Moulin Rouge. And that started, and this is like, the guy singing is like an older black gentleman. And I started hysterically laughing. Like I was crying, laughing.
not?
And the woman in front of me turns around and goes, "This is not funny." And I was like, "Are you watching it?"
He's wonderful, but he is singing
That's
Lord.
not Lord. Yeah, that's for
He
sure.
is singing a song from my middle school dance.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You got my deep
Oh my
bone
God.
wedding. With
That's
like a super
insane.
thick French accent.
It's
That's
it's
hilarious.
Insane. Okay, Tony Hill. Anything?
Okay, I don't know. I mean, first off, I feel like I need to know everyone's big 2017 Tony, because that's like the biggest hot take of all time, which is this is the year of Dear Evan Hansen.
Yes.
Come From Away.
That was one
That
of
was
my
the come from away.
Comment.
The come from away loss for me was.
So this is the hot take, right? Okay, so Dear Evan Hansen won.
Yes.
Now, at the time, I was, and I still am, I'm a huge Great Comet fan. I was a Great Comet diehard stan. I love Great Comet. And I was like, I can't believe it lost. Looking back, Come From
Yeah.
Away should have won. Because I think ultimately when you look at the what will have the longest impact in theater and like just overall what is a perfect musical, it's Come From Away.
Wait, I fully forgot Kevin Spacey hosted that.
Yes,
year of
yes.
the
And
Tonys.
can I say something?
What a crazy Tony award.
That was also the only time I've ever been invited to the Tonys after party. And I walked in, first person I saw, Kevin Spacey. Second person I saw, Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden and Jill Biden, they presented at the Tony Awards.
Wait,
That's a great
Joe and
party.
Joe Biden presented Best Musical at the
I
Tony
can't
Awards?
remember what it was, but they presented something at the Tony Awards in
That's
2017. But it was so funny because we're standing in line to
insane.
like walk in, and it's Kevin Spacey, and then immediately Joe and
Wait,
Joe Biden.
okay, wait, I got it. Wait, Joe and Jill Biden introduced Bandstand.
There we go.
They introduced
Why?
the performance of Bandstand.
Because they love Laura Osnes.
Oh no. Mine actually builds off of that. I think that year the biggest snub was actually Stephanie J. Block
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's
not
me.
winning for Trina.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. And I thought she was nominated against Bette Midler, but actually she was nominated against
Rachel Bay Jones.
Rachel Bay Jones.
It
And
was-
then she won.
Dear Evan Hansen
For
was
Dear
up.
Evan
the
Hansen.
lo- the
I'm sorry.
beloved.
That's
the mother
crazy.
From Dear Evan Hansen won over the character of Trina.
Yes.
That's
One, I love Rachel Bay
Crazy.
Jones. Don't get me
Oh, no,
wrong.
no.
No.
She's
but
amazing.
Trina is.
But like Falsettos was so snubbed that year.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
actually one of the greatest theatrical pieces in my
Hey, I have
mind.
a hot take about that year that y'all were talking about, and I told these guys, I don't like Come From Away.
Whoa,
Wow.
that's wrong.
Maggie,
I
I
know
see
it
you.
is.
Maggie.
That's a
I
bad
know it's bad.
decision.
Maggie, I see you.
Thank you so much, Liz.
Can I say my hot take from that year? I think Amelie should have been nominated.
Oh,
I love that
Have you
show
seen,
so
Have you seen
much.
Okay.
the West End version of
I was saying
Amelie?
that's the
Oh
better.
my
That's the
God.
fixed version of Amelie.
The West End version is so good.
Oh.
They didn't go from Broadway or from West End to Broadway. They
No,
went
it was
from
Broadway to
West
what?
End.
So it was one of this
They
will come
once
up
did.
later, which is it's one of the few shows that did something in Broadway, completely rewrote and fixed it, and then went to the West End.
Yep.
Which
So
is usually the opposite.
Right. Well, but I feel like very rarely, and again, we'll talk about this later when we get to Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But like, have I seen a show in one location and then seen it again and watched them actually fix the problems with it?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times they're like, oh, we're doing it, we're gonna workshop it, and then they just kind of don't do anything.
Yeah.
And just bring it.
Do we want to get into the nominations?
Yeah.
Okay, I have it split up into some different sections, and yeah, we'll just hop right in. We're gonna start with technical awards for plays. Okay, that's why it says on the presentation, technical awards for plays. As you can see, I worked really hard on the font, the boldness, all that stuff. Okay,
It's so cohesive.
thank you so much. So, immediate thoughts. For
I have a
these
snub.
technical-
I have a snub.
Go.
Okay, wait.
Go,
Let
Maggie.
me read them really quick. So, sound design, we have Hills of California, Stranger Things, Good Night, Good Luck, John Proctor's the Villain, Picture Dorian Gray. Costume design, we have Good Night, Good Luck, Picture Dorian Gray, Hills of California, Oh Mary, Stranger Things. Lighting design, Hills of California, Stranger Things, Good Night, Good Luck, John Proctor, Picture Dorian Gray. And then scenic design, English, Hills of California, Picture Dorian Gray, Stranger Things, Good Night, Good Luck. A lot. My first thing I wrote was, is this a Stranger Things sweep?
Yes.
Do we think it's going to be?
Maybe not for costumes, but I would say they are literally getting a special Tony for
I
illusions
know.
and effects.
But then that made me think, are they getting that because...
I think they're getting that because they weren't going to give them best play.
Okay,
I was to say
cool.
also like Harry Potter stuff that year, but I will say like sound design. Yes, Stranger Things was the loudest play I've ever heard in my life.
I don't think it's the point of sound design.
It was so loud. I don't know anything
Don't
about
be
sound.
autistic and go to Stranger.
Yeah, don't do that. It's a lot.
Maggie did because we saw it the same night, and Maggie ordered it, and she was like, "I need you to give me a really big hug and squeeze hard." And I was like, "I got you."
I felt the same way during Redwood. I went to Redwood and I was like sitting next to my friend Rachel and I was like,
R.I.P.
this
Redwood.
This is too much for me. This is
Shout-
too much for me.
Oh,
I
yeah, they
announced
poured
this
out.
morning while we recorded.
Rest in peace.
Wait, Maggie, you had a snub.
Okay, my snub is lighting design for English.
Yeah, let it. Oh.
It is some of the most gorgeous and intentional lighting I've ever seen in my life in
Yeah.
relationship to the passing of days and also how we're feeling emotionally as a group.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they actually invented new lighting rigs for
Yeah.
some of the work that they did.
That's crazy.
And I think that's a snub.
That's
I
messed up.
wanted to also bring up another snub. I didn't get to see this show, which makes me sad. Well, actually, my big snub is lighting and sound for Job. I thought the
Yeah.
lighting that
Oh
Job
my
did
God.
was so cool.
Everything
I thought
for
like the sound, the
Job.
way that they like made the sound move around the space was really, really cool. And I just was really disappointed it wasn't on there. But something I wanted to throw to Liz, and probably you guys, because you guys probably saw it, the lighting for Romeo and Juliet.
I was
Oh, yeah.
That was I was looking at my predictions, and
Yeah.
I got 4 out of 5, and the one I missed, which I haven't seen Good Night and Good Luck yet, so I didn't get Good Night and Good Luck, and I
Yeah.
put Romeo and Juliet there because I love the way that space was set up. And
Yeah.
I,
Even the
It's the club.
masquerade
right,
scene.
beautiful. Like it's
The-
the lighting was
oh.
the lighting of like the scene of when they had like flipped the stage and it was all those flowers
Oh my
and then
God, I
like
lost
oh
my
my God,
mind.
it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
I feel like they were snubbed a lot. I mean, like I know a lot of people really didn't like it, but I feel like
They're
they
wrong.
at least deserve. I mean, I really liked it,
Yeah.
but I feel like
Yeah.
they at least
It was
deserve
also just
recognition.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
100%.
I enjoyed watching it visually the entire time. I never felt like I was missing something visually.
Yeah.
I love Urban Outfitters core. Like that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
so like
And
I like I know that sounds like a joke. I'm being
Oh,
so
no.
for real.
And I don't know, like again, I don't know because it's always so complicated in terms of like what is scenic versus what is direction in terms of like the way that like you know the actors running through the like like the rigging and like but like all of that
Yeah.
was
I
just
loved
like
it.
so cool.
Also,
Yeah.
the inclusion of a Borg.
Yes.
Oh
That
my
made
God.
that show for me.
Again,
I
probably
was-
direction more
I don't
than
really know what to expect in this moment, and then I walked in and I saw a giant thing of like White Claws and a
Yeah.
Borg. And I
William-
was like, I know where I am.
Now-
I know what this is.
Keep in mind William Shakespeare.
Oh,
That's what
that's great.
Yeah, thank you. No, that's what it said. I didn't come up with that. That's what they
Oh,
wrote on
that
it.
is really good. though.
Actually, I did come up with that, guys. I'm gonna take full credit. Thank you.
Can I ask a question to the table? So Liz and I, my sister, shout out Paige, is a MFA lighting designer at UNLV.
Cool.
Really brilliant. She's doing stuff at, where's she doing stuff? Old Globe this summer.
Yeah.
In San Francisco, wherever.
Oh, at the San
Is it San
Diego?
Francisco?
no,
San Diego.
San
San Diego.
I
the
was
Old
like,
Globe.
yeah, it's where the show that I'm most wanting to see that I can't see, Regency Girls, is playing.
Oh, yeah.
right
She's
now.
working it.
Shut the.
So we went to a lighting design
Pages of
conference here in New York that she was like presenting
Oh,
at.
that's so cool.
And we were just two dumbasses who didn't
Oh
know
my
anything.
God, this is a
Wait,
great
next
story.
time she does that, please let me know. 'Cause I
Yes,
have to
100%.
go.
We'll happily invite you. It was super fun. We met like a ton. Like we met one of the assistant lighting designers on Real Women.
Yeah.
We met a ton of really cool people. But
Go
I
see
was
Little
doing a
Women.
lap while like you were talking to Paige, and I was doing a lap, and I ran into a lighting designer. I started a conversation, and I was like, "Hey, like, who do you think is going to win the Tony?" Just like kind of casually, and they were like, and they were really quick to say, "It doesn't matter. Realism lighting is the really good stuff, and it's never going to get nominated." Which made me then
Ooh.
think a lot of the lighting design here is like really brilliant, beautiful lighting design. But when I think of lighting design personally, and I talked to my sister a little bit about it, I think of like Infinite Life by Annie Baker. I think of like Cult of Love that was
Yeah.
recently on Broadway, and Purpose. The shows that are doing lighting to show time change in super realistic ways.
English is
Yeah.
right.
So I'm wondering, do you think that is a piece of lighting design that isn't looked at enough in
I think
these?
it's the same as in film and visual effects. Some of the hardest visual effects to do are to make it look like stuff isn't there helping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you think of it, you often think of like CGI. You think of a Marvel movie, all
Yeah,
of these
yeah, yeah.
giant situations. Where like if you've seen the movie Presence recently,
love
there
that
is
movie.
a single camera shot and there are a bunch of special effects happening. And the job of the people doing that were to erase a hand or a shadow or a reflection of the camera operator and
Yeah.
anyone moving anything. And it is so well done, but no one's going to talk about it because it's purposefully there to look like it's not
To make
there.
it look like it's not there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing of
Yeah.
lighting design in that way.
It's interesting. I will say though, if we're getting into the portion of the part where we say who we think is going to win, I do think that Stranger Things is probably gonna steal everything. I think maybe costume design might go to Picture Dorian Gray.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I guess O'Mary.
Ooh, I actually really liked Hills for costume design. I love a period piece. I know that's
And
crazy.
they love it. The reason that Good Night and Good Luck is here is because the Tonys love nothing more than a suit play. So we always call it a suit. They love a suits.
That's why I'm surprised Glenn Gary didn't get any nomination. We'll talk about it.
Joy.
But yeah,
Joy.
So costume design is kind of up in the air. I earnestly think sound design, lighting design, and scenic is all going to go
and
to.
And honestly, like I'm not mad about it. Like
I mean, it was
I thought
crazy
it was
what they did.
beautiful.
It was awesome.
I actually have a hot.
opening with the boat and everything.
Yes.
Oh, the boat was
Yeah.
wild when
That
it
was
came
sick as
through.
hell.
That I lost my mind over that
Insane.
boat. That was crazy.
Wait,
No,
Liz has a hot
I have
take.
a hot take. I actually think that like, and I know nothing about sound design. I'm an actor. Like I know nothing about tech. I'm an idiot. But like, I think the most special thing in a play for me is, and it might be like a familiarity thing with music, but like John Proctor and Hills of California did this, where it was a song that like you know and you're familiar with. It's Lord. It's I think it was like Gimme Shelter in Hills of California. The way that you can take a song and just magnify the sound and make you feel it in your bones, like that is something so important to me. And I don't know if that's like an actual impressive technical thing to do, but like that is what made those plays for me, is being like, oh my God, now every time I listen to Gimme Shelter, I feel in my bones and I see that set change and I see her walking down the stairs. Oh, it's so good.
I do think Hills of California could be a sneaky scenic snub.
Oh,
I think
I
the
really
fact
hope
that it's not
so.
open is
yeah.
a big reason why it might not win a lot. But
I was this is actually was almost my like hot take of the thing, which is that I'm tired. Like there's been this whole narrative of like plays in the fall, or like fall shows like don't do well. And I was like, you know what, guys, like fall shows are crushing this year. We
Yeah.
can have all 4 winners of our best musical, best play, best revival. Could all be fall shows, which
It
is
was incredible.
nuts. Like,
if they were all fall shows, what would they be?
it would be Oh Mary,
Hills.
Hill, or no, it was Oh Mary, Good Night. No, sorry, maybe Happy Ending.
Oh yeah, 'cause that's a fall show.
Now I'm forgetting everything that's nominated. Wait, let me look. Okay. So yeah, it was
Well,
maybe
Sunset
Happy
Boulevard.
Ending, Sunset Boulevard.
And then Yellow Phase or Romeo and Juliet
yeah.
or Art. Oh, literally
They're
all
all
of them.
4 of the revivals are
All
closed.
4 of the rivals are falls. Yeah.
But those would be 4 fall shows. Yeah, you'd have Eureka Day, maybe Happy Ending, Sunset Boulevard, and Oh Mary, which are all fall shows, which would be, I mean, again, Oh Mary and Sunset are still open, so it's a little bit different, but like it is, and maybe Happy Ending's still open, but like there's this narrative, I think, of like open as close to the deadline as possible for like the best chance. And actually, I think we're seeing that kind of shift.
Yeah.
And the fact that nominators are like clearly, and I think about a lot with like Cost of Living, which was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
And it was like this show that ran for like 4 weeks in the fall. And I think everyone thought it would be forgotten. And then it got like, I mean, it didn't win anything, but it got 5 nominations, including Carrie Young with her 2nd nomination.
Yeah.
And I think that's great, because I think I don't want it to be like you have to open in April to like have a chance of winning a Tony.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing for me is that like Oh Mary, maybe Happy Ending, Sunset, they're all still open. And I think like the issue is like Oh Mary's is in a world of its own.
Yeah.
Most of the time plays when they open, they have like a shelf life.
Right.
Just because like there's like a certain amount of time that like less people are going to go, unfortunately.
No, yeah.
So like it makes me feel like sad that like shows like Hills or like Job or like The Roommate that open like really early on and close kind of before even Tonys are really being thought about too far.
Right.
I wonder if that does kind of affect it a little bit because the voting doesn't happen until a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, what's like nice, I mean, obviously not in these categories, we'll talk about it later, but like Yellowface, because they have the pro shot, so they were able to send the pro shot to everybody.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And that, like, I think really obviously made an impact because you can watch it.
I think that too. I think also as the world of social media around theater grows and keeps things in conversation and brings things up again and again and again, that keeps things on people's mind as that like community gets larger too.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, sweet. We're going to shift to technical awards for musicals. Again, the font there. We're all happy about it.
It is there.
All right, technical awards for musicals. We have sound design, Buena Vista, Sunset Boulevard, Just in Time, Maybe Happy Ending, Floyd Collins. Costume design, we have Buena Vista, Boop, Maybe Happy Ending, Death Becomes Her, Just in Time. Best lighting design, we have Sunset Boulevard, Buena Vista, Floyd Collins, Maybe Happy Ending, and Death Becomes Her. And then best scenic design, Swept Away, Maybe Happy Ending, Buena Vista, Death Becomes Her, Just in Time. Immediate thoughts, immediate things. My first thought is nothing for The Tree.
I know.
Nothing for Redwood. Stella didn't get a special Tony
Now,
Award?
I haven't seen Just in Time.
Yes.
But like for the other 3, I do think like scenic is stunning.
Yeah.
I do quick shout out Rachel Hawk, who is the only person nominated for Swept Away and is a woman in the Men musical, which makes me really happy.
Also, that boat was sick as hell.
That
Yeah,
boat was fire.
honestly, the boat needs to.
And
win,
I
fear.
love Rachel because she also is the set designer for Hadestown. So
Yeah.
big
yeah,
fan.
well, that makes
Yep.
sense.
And you know what?
Yes.
And you know what?
And
yeah.
yes.
Loves a set
But
reveal.
it is. I mean, it's hard because, yeah, like it's wild that Redwood was left out, but I'm also like the other 4 sets, and again, haven't seen just in time yet. It's the only musical that I'm missing. Like, are so stunning that I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh, the maybe happy ending Firefly reveal is one of the
So
most
sick.
gorgeous
Yes.
things.
Very,
Ugh.
very
beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah.
I also love the use of lighting in that's a question I wanted to bring up. What do you do about elements that are helping each other lift each other up? So like for me, like lighting and scenic is super entrenched together with maybe happy ending. I also think shows like Sunset Boulevard that heavily uses projections. I don't know where exactly that sits either.
Yeah.
Like is that
I think they
exclusively
can.
in lighting?
I think they actually set projections with scenic. I think if you look at Sunset, it's the 2 people that are not Sunset.
Because Sunset's only nominated.
Oh, you're right.
For lighting
Maybe it's
and for
projections and
sound.
lighting. You're right. Sorry.
So projections is split between lighting and sound, I guess.
yeah.
Wait, is it if it's a screen? Is that projections? Is that a stupid question?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it's an
right?
LED, right?
But
Well,
no,
I think
it's still projection.
It's still like counted as projection design.
Once again,
or
I'm an
whatever.
actor. I don't know anything. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's
It's
projection.
adorable. It's
So
great.
sorry.
But
I
yeah.
think it also is dependent on what they want to do.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes they are considered part of the scenic, and then I think sometimes they are considered part of the
Yeah.
lighting.
Is anyone surprised that Swept Away only got scenic?
Yeah, I'm a big Swept Away fan, actually. I'm going to put myself out on the internet and say that
So
I
am
love
I.
Swept Away, and I don't care about the hate, and I think
really
that John
don't.
Gallagher Jr. should have gotten a nomination.
There was we had
We'll
this
get
we
there.
had this
We'll get there, but
we
I'm
had
really
this conversation yesterday that you're either a Swept Away girly or a dead outlaw
Dead
girl.
We had
Also
the
had
same
this
conversation.
conversation.
That's so weird. That's crazy.
Because you guys can't see, but I'm wearing a Dead Outlaw hat right
Yeah.
now.
Maggie, I will say I was
We know Maggie's
I
side
was-
on the Civil War.
I was team Dead Outlaw until I went to see Swept Away concert on
the
Monday,
concert.
Yeah.
and I was like,
I was so sad we were
This-
so sad we couldn't go.
this rocks.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I mostly like, I love the music of Swept Away. And so I was like, oh,
good.
this is what I wanted.
Also,
Like,
Yeah.
shout out
Yeah.
to the cast and their music of the Saloon Sessions
I
they've
know.
been doing.
Amazing.
Which
Oh, dude,
are also raising money
1000%.
for breast cancer
I know.
research.
Yeah,
Yeah,
If
the
you
the
guys
Janice
Janice
Jam.
Jams.
Shout out Matt
Yeah.
DeAngelis who runs all
Yes.
that. Matt's the best.
yes.
Also has the cutest dog in the world. I'm
Matt
in love
was
with that dog.
fun fact of the day. Oh, Matt's gonna love this. I'll send this to him.
Yeah.
Matt, when I first came to New York, I came a couple months before Liz because I had this job at Broadway licensing, and I had nowhere to live, and I posted randomly on Facebook, and he just randomly DM'd me and was like, "Hey, do you want to live with me?" and sublet in my apartment.
Is he like
And
a
I-
random person?
Random person, did not know he was, and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess. Had no idea he was like a Broadway actor or anything like that. Everyone in my family, Liz, everybody thought I was gonna get murdered. And then Matt became a good buddy, and
He's so
is like
lovely.
one of the most lovely people in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And him and his wife are like Broadway
Yeah, him and Christine
veterans,
are-
like
Oh,
very
yeah.
impressive.
They're
She
so,
was
so dope.
Alphaba, like
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, they're the absolute best.
She also sang in the Saloon Sessions, and it rocked.
Yeah.
her voice is crazy.
So good.
Yeah, and I've gone to, I think, every year of Janice Gems, and they're so
They're
fun.
so
They're
fun.
so good.
They're like a blast.
When my mother completed her first round of chemo, it was on a night of one of the Saloon Sessions, and he shouted her out on the live stream.
That's so nice.
That's so
That's so
angel.
cool.
Angel status.
Okay, is any snubs, thoughts, feelings? Okay, I haven't seen Boop, but I know in a portion of the show they go from black and white to
Yes.
color.
Okay.
How is that done? Is it done through lighting? Is it done through costumes?
Also
I've seen
costumes,
photos.
costumes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Mostly.
Okay, cool.
Which
So
is why
that's
I
what.
thought
Which
that
is
was
why
neat
the
that I
costume,
got it.
Boop deserved costumes. Like,
Yeah.
there's
did.
the one scene, which is, you can watch it because they posted it, is their opening of Act 2, is this really cool number, Where is Betty? And they do this thing where half of the actors are wearing, all the actors are wearing costumes that are on one side colored and on one side black and white. And half of them are wearing, it's like split between half of them, their fronts, like, so some of them have it with front side black and white and some of them have it with back side black and white. And so they do this really cool scene. And again, it's filmed, so you can go watch it. It looks incredible.
Yeah. So that makes sense. The costume,
Yeah.
the costume grab.
Also, we were talking last night. The sound design of Floyd Collins
It's
is
insane.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have this really cool effect where they like echo like a cave, and I don't know if it's live. I mean, it has to be live. Like, it's crazy. It's like live echoing his voice into the cave, and
Because
it's
he's
like
harmonizing
the most.
with his own yodels.
Yeah, it's the most
Yeah.
beautiful, and also that space is just like Maggie and I were saying
yeah.
is like a cave.
And
it's
you
huge.
feel like you are. There's guys.
Yeah.
I'm not going to dramaturgy for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
There are some lines in the opening numbers of Floyd Collins about how to him the idea of glory is the surrounding of voices and the surrounding of people, and it's also related to his discovery of the cave.
Yeah.
So as he sings out his yodels, the directional sound comes from different angles behind the audience until it finally circles the entirety of the audience and pushes forward. So it makes us the cave. We are the voices. We are the glory. We are the people that he is singing out to.
So sound design makes sense.
It was the coolest thing. I hope they take that home. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
And I think what's going to be hard is Buena Vista because they do so much like live sound music.
Crazy. Well, wait, didn't they get?
They got a special Tony Award for the cutie
Tony
little
Award
old men. I love them so much.
The time we got to go, we were like first 3 rows.
Yeah.
And so it was like you were at a concert with them.
Yeah, really.
You
Yeah.
guys were there.
Oh, yeah,
that
wait,
night
we
too.
were
a couple rows back.
And it was so neat to be, because we were just like dancing with them.
Yeah.
Like, they were
They
looking
are
straight down.
Yeah.
And we
So
were like, hey.
cute. And I'm so glad because it's this thing where like there's no category to like give them, right? And like they get the final bow of the show. Like they are in like all intents and purposes like the leads of Buena Vista Social Club, but they're not actors.
Yeah.
So it's hard to be like, so I'm really glad that they got a special Tony Award. And I love the sound design for that. And I also like Buena Vista, like I think about the scene where Natalie goes back to the club in like the 90s and there's this way the light shines in. They have the light coming through this window at the top of the set that is like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And I'm really sitting there being like, if this doesn't get a lighting design nomination, I mean, I think honestly that probably is going to Sunset. Like I can't imagine anyone else taking lighting away from Sunset. But
I will say,
I do too. I'm a huge, but like I'm really glad it was nominated.
the lighting thing for me in Sunset is when she walks into the film set with Mr. DeMille, and it has like the light. And I was taken immediately to being on set. Like it was the most stylized version of what it actually feels like to be in that room and makes you feel the notion of what being in the spotlight actually is and means, even when you're sitting in the audience. So not only are you getting her lyrics and the way that she's talking about being back on set, but you're also feeling it because of the way the lighting is built, which I think is really neat.
Oh, 1,000%.
And they get points for blinding me.
Yeah.
Once again, same as Stranger Things, guys.
Well, and that's the other thing too with a Sunset with the sound design, because they literally go outside and he's singing, walking through this Times Square, and it sounds impeccable.
It is the most magical thing I've seen. I keep saying that about it.
Sound design is going to be a fight
I
between
know.
Buena Vista, Floyd Collins, and Sunset.
baby.
Oh, that's so hard.
That's really, really
And
tough.
even again, like I think this is one where like, because I haven't seen it just in time, but like that's another one where they have like they
Live.
set like in a nightclub area, and then maybe happy ending with like the way they incorporate like the sounds of the record player and like.
Was costume design for maybe Happy Ending surprising to you guys? No. What was the big pull? Because I had just seen it and I saw that and I was like, I'm forgetting what exactly I think.
To me, it's the specificity that makes
How
it
clean and specific.
how clean and specific it is, and how in the world it is.
Yeah.
The idea these aren't extraordinary pieces of clothing, but they also immediately let you know where you are and who you're with. I think is something very special.
And Helen
Okay,
Jason
cool.
looks fabulous.
I was about to say Helen.
Helen
that
Jason
fit.
does look fabulous.
Yeah.
I want Helen's whole outfit. Like,
so
right?
good. Okay, any thoughts on winners? Who do we think? What do we think is going to what?
Oh.
Do people think? I think we have some Floyd Collins in the room for sound design, some Sunset Boulevard, some Buena Vista.
My thing is, I will never claim to know anything. I just will enjoy myself.
I'll just enjoy myself.
And speaking of, I think Death Becomes Her could take home costume design.
I think it will take home costume design.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Just the one.
Yeah.
It's insane. Hey, that's crazy.
I said
They
if I
put a
had
hole
to
in a
pick
woman.
right now, I would say Sunset for sound and lighting, Death Becomes Her costumes, and Swept Away Scenic.
Really?
Yeah, I actually agree with that.
I would love to see Swept Away win Scenic.
Yeah, that'd be
I think
cool.
it should. Like, I think it should.
I think
Absolutely.
it should too. I mean, I will say, like, the Tony voters do love it when you take a theater and then you make it a nightclub.
Yeah, they
And
do.
look at
They
Cabaret.
love
They
it.
love it when you make it an immersive
I also
club.
think because I'm a maybe happy ending. Like I think they could get it because I think maybe happy ending might have the momentum to just like.
Maybe Happy Ending is just everything was so crisp.
Yes.
It's so
It's really clean.
It's crazy. Okay, sweet. All right, we're moving on. But before we move on, the Scene Podcast is sponsored by Broadway Book Club, the only subscription box that delivers the magic of theater straight to your door. 7 scripts delivered 4 times a year. From Broadway hits to hidden gems, Broadway Book Club is perfect for theater lovers, educators, and performers alike. It's the easiest way to grow your library and spark your next great production. Join the club. Learn more at BroadwayBookClub.com. Thank you.
Money.
I've hawked my wares. Okay, it's time for the creative awards in musicals. I don't know how exactly to talk about pick the world to put these ones in.
That's the right.
Creative awards make sense. Okay, good.
And once again, the graphic design.
Thank you.
One more time,
Perfect,
that
beautiful
joke.
graphic
Yep.
design. Okay, so we have, and I'm gonna mess up names. I'm so sorry. Actually, no, I'm gonna try to say names because they all deserve it. Best choreography: Smash, Joshua Bergesy, Gypsy, Camille A. Brown, Death Becomes Her, Christopher Gattelli, Boop the Musical, Jerry Mitchell, and Buena Vista Social Club, Patricia Delgado and Justin Peck.
Married couple.
Oh, are they a married couple?
Married couple.
Oh, dancing married couple.
But Patricia's
married
like,
couple
I'm
that
keeping my
dances.
last name so I don't become just Mrs. Peck. And
Good. There we
That is
go.
good.
Good. Best original score: Dead Outlaw, David Yazbek, Eric Della Pena, Death Becomes Her, Julia Madison, Nice, Noel Carey, Maybe Happy Ending, Will Arson, Hugh Park, Operation Mincemeat, a new musical, Spit Lip, hell yeah, Real Women Have Curves, the musical, Joy Harada and Benjamin Velez. Best orchestrations: Just in Time, Andrew Resnick and Michael Thurber, Maybe Happy Ending, Will Arneson, Floyd Collins, Bruce Coughlin, Buena Vista Social Club, Marco Pagu, Sunset Boulevard, David Cullen and Andrew Lloyd Webber. Best book of a musical: Buena Vista Social Club, Marco Ramirez, Dead Outlaw, Itmar Moses, Death Becomes Her, Marco Penat, Maybe Happy Ending, Will Arneson, Hugh Park, and Operation Mincemeat, a new musical, Spit Lip. Boom.
Wow.
What do we think?
I want Buena Vista Social Club to win choreography so
Yeah, obviously.
bad.
And I
Justin
Really?
Peck.
Over Death Becomes Her?
Yeah, no.
Absolutely.
Justin Peck is just one of the
Death
greatest
Becomes Her stuff
choreographers
was
of our time.
It is incredible,
Crazy.
but the amount of just raw emotion living in the world of Buena Vista Social Club.
That is very true.
And also, technically, his training comes in such a ballet forward. It's just beautiful. Because did he do West Side Story? Am I making that up?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It's just he is one of the greatest. One of the greatest
I will also say
choreographers.
the best choreography I've ever seen on stage is Illinois.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
and
Yeah.
he does such a good
Oh
job.
my god.
Yeah, sorry to the Cooperman brothers who tried to do their Opus Magnus with Outsiders, and then Justin Peck was like, I'm actually going to do it
I'm
Illinois
actually so sorry.
this season.
This season is mine for choreography.
And they were like,
Goodbye.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shout out
No
to them
question.
for last 5 years.
No.
Ooh.
Any other thoughts? What about?
I was at Smash last night, and I will say, watching it, I was like, this choreography eats.
Yeah.
Robin Herder is just the most
So good.
She's the
insane
greatest.
dancer of all time, and watching it I'm like this choreography is so good that it feels like it's not choreography. She's being flipped upside down, and you're just but does it so seamlessly that I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think Buena Vista it's insane, and I've been thinking that.
It's one of those pieces of choreography too that raises my chest from my seat.
Yeah.
I'm being pulled in
because it's all based
to
in
what they're
storytelling.
doing.
I saw
Yeah.
it. So I saw Buena Vista at off Broadway at the Atlantic.
Yeah.
And I was like, my biggest problem with it was I was like, it feels so cramped. Again, this is a theater that also did Kimberly Akimbo, and the idea that you would do Kimberly Akimbo and Buena Vista Social Club in the same space is insane.
It's so tough.
And I was like, this show is wonderful, but I feel like there's a million people in it and everyone is on top of each other because there's nowhere to move. And so I was so excited to see it on Broadway where they just have the room to play.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which is so good. Original score, orchestrations, any thoughts or feelings? All right, Floyd Collins.
I
stands.
love Floyd
Collins.
Collins.
I heard
love
you guys
it.
immediately go for it.
Please.
Okay, the first time I saw it, I was sitting in the balcony, and so I could look into the pit for most of it.
Oh, yeah.
And as someone who was a fan of the concert album, those orchestrations, I was like, okay, I'm here for, yes, the people singing on stage and all of that. Give me the man rocking out on the harmonica for his life.
Hell
It
yeah.
rules.
Hell
the guy
yeah.
on the banjo, last night from our angle, I could see
Yeah.
the person picking his violin for the riddle song, and that was sick.
That's sick.
There are just so many things in that set of orchestrations that are beautifully done.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
the music is so often at odds with the vocals, depending on what you're working through,
Yeah.
that you have to be so strong in what you're doing on either
Yeah,
end.
we got a chance. Maggie has a friend in the show, and we got a chance to talk to them last night. And the way that they talked about the process of everything is so intentional and so smart. I just think it's it reminds me of when I saw Parade, and I was like, oh, this is just a next level of music that people will never.
And
comprehend.
noticing too, going back and seeing how motifs from later songs are weaved into moments around the beginning.
Yeah.
Moments of panic are underscored by a certain piece of the music that then doesn't even come in for 30 minutes. All of these beautiful things. And they're not just existing under vocals, they're also existing under the scene and under a panic attack. It's great.
I just think nothing's doing it like that in this other than
Do we think this could be a season where one show, like maybe Happy Ending, takes it all and that, or do we think it's going to be a very spread out?
I actually think it's going to be very spread out. Because
Okay,
I just think there's not the problem. The good thing is we're in a season with like a lot of really great musicals.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be a lot of controversial opinions in terms of like, like just a lot of
Differing,
splits.
yeah.
Like I think you could see a world in which we have one show win book, one show win score, and one show win
for
best
sure.
musical,
Yeah.
which is not always how it works.
No.
Like, because again, our 5 best book are also our best musical. But I think you could see a best book and best musical going in different
think so,
directions.
Yeah, and what like some like lack in one thing, the other makes it. Like it's also like everybody has their strong suits, which is the coolest thing to see ever.
Also, the score of Maybe Happy Ending is one of my favorite things in the world.
Yeah.
And I want it. It deserves everything, and I want it to have everything. Thank you so much.
So
See, and I'm not a Maybe Happy Ending, and I love Maybe Happy Ending, but the score is my least favorite part of the show.
Really?
And once again,
I just don't think like again this is not because I think it's bad. It just to me I'm like I love the story so much, Maybe Happy Ending, and I think that, like I think you could do it without any of the music.
Yeah.
Like I don't like
it is
could
a
be a
play would
play.
be crazy.
like you're right. Like I said, like I mean, think about a world and again, this is like it's weird because again, I really like the music. It's not I don't like the music, but I'm like, but to me, it's like the music exists outside of the story, and I'm like, if you could do a version of Maybe Happy Ending where it's only the jazz, like you don't even need Helen and Darren's songs.
Yeah.
I also think that like I think one of my favorite things I've seen this season is Death Becomes Her, and I know like that is such a controversial opinion
score is
because
great, too.
people do not want funny silly things to win. It's such a serious
It's
like
the Beetlejuice
boring
pick, I feel
game.
like. It's like, there's always
literally
one of those.
we can
But I
never
will
have
say,
joy.
But but like I think Death Becomes Her has again I don't.
it's so good.
But if we look at it from like the, I guess, political way of the Tonys, which is that the majority of the voters are regional people that are looking at shows that they can tour. Maybe Happy Ending and Dead Outlaw, which are considered the two front runners, are not shows that are going to tour well.
no.
Death Becomes Her is
Death
going to make
Becomes
$1
Her is
billion
gonna murder.
dollars on tour.
Yeah.
Like, and I will say, like, yeah, I was like, so, like, I don't think we can write off Death Becomes Her because
No.
I
I
think
just
that.
love it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's
I
great.
think it's so smart, and I think
it's
people
Julia.
just write it off because
Yeah.
it's like
Julia
campy
Masters.
and like
Yes.
fun. And I think we
every
can be.
single decision being made on a line read in every single song
Yes.
is
Yes.
amazing.
Oh my God, it's
That's the
so
reason why there's
100%
so many
correct.
different moments that are going viral on TikTok.
Yes.
Not from musical people, just like in
General.
general. Because
Yeah.
Jen Simard's
Yeah.
She made
Because
it.
you have to be smart to be funny, and I
Yeah.
think that like people really like overlook funny things, and I hope
Yeah.
that they don't overlook it just because they're like, well, we have to vote
I
something
know there's
serious.
a lot of thoughts on Best Leading Actress, but I do think Jennifer and Megan have maybe some of the best chemistry on stage currently in New York. It's just so good.
My thing about all these two is I would be happy if any of them won.
Which
So
is
true.
Which is
Nothing
a
that
year
I am-
have never felt that this way.
Yeah,
before.
exactly.
I want to bring up a lesser nominated show that did get nominated for original score, Real Women Have Curves.
I'm so happy it got
yeah,
nominated.
I'm
for
happy
Real
it got a
Women of
nomination or two. What did you guys think of the score?
Curves. I love Real Women of Curves. It's another one where I actually think the book is stronger than the score.
Yeah.
Because I just think the show is so special, and I just want everyone to go see it. I think it is, and people say this all the time, but like it is so like prescient and relevant to what is happening right now. It is about this group of undocumented workers in a factory in Los Angeles in the 80s, but it's also just so joyful and filled with love, and it's emotional and like incredible choreography, incredible performances. I think there's a world in which we could have seen like Tatiana nominated for like it is just an incredible show, and the music is amazing. And I will say like the lyrics are not always the best, but in the context of the show, I think they work really well.
Yeah.
Like Real Women of Curves is like kind of this almost, it sounds being negative, but I'm not. It's like this throwback to like a classic Broadway musical theater show.
Yeah.
Like it just, it has all the elements of just like Broadway, and it is so special, and I'm really glad that it is here. I wish it had gotten more. I really wanted it in Best Musical, but I'm really happy it's here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
It got something. Yeah, which is great. But yeah, I do also want to toss some love to Operation Mincemeat. I don't know if you guys saw it, but
I've seen it a lot.
It's
I saw it in London
Ash
twice.
is a very big fan.
Wait, what did you think from the difference from London?
It's changed barely anything.
Anything
I mean,
else?
it's just gotten a lot bigger. Like,
Okay,
like
cool.
the end.
Glitzy finale?
The glitzy finale is a glitzy finale.
Yeah.
And in London, it's like a glitzy-ish finale.
Yeah, but this is like glitzy. I love Operation Mincemeat.
I'm obsessed with Operation Mincemeat.
So funny and so smart. And
I was really scared it was gonna get completely snubbed after.
Yeah.
I was like, it had been in my locks for like the whole year.
Yeah.
And then we had the OC, the Outer Critics, and the Drama Desk, and I was like, is it not getting nominated? Like, are we
Yeah.
only getting Jack and nothing else? Like, I started to like freak out. But I'm really and I think and what I really like is we only see one acting nomination for them, but then the other three of them who are not nominated for acting are split lip.
Yeah.
Zoe David and Natasha wrote the show. And so I'm glad that they're getting their nominations.
Yeah.
And I think like score and book is like what they deserve.
What they deserve. Oh yeah, 100%.
I listen to Dear Bill, that song
Oh my God.
by itself, so often.
It's so good.
It's gorgeous.
great.
Jack Malone's brilliant. I really think Jack Malone is a front runner for
I think I
feature
agree.
yeah.
I totally agree.
musical.
Yeah, I mean, and I think if Natasha, and I get why they, again, whether it was them or they were pushed to, but like I get why Natasha and David were in leading. But had they all been featured, I think Natasha probably would have found her way into featured.
Yeah.
There was no way she was finding her way into leading just because this is a
Yeah, I
crazy
know.
year.
Because
But,
David and Natasha were both leading, right? Yeah, which is tough. But yeah.
I do want to give for orchestrations. I would not necessarily call them snubs, but I want to give little shout outs to one of your favorites, Swept Away, which I didn't think I even really appreciated it as much as I did when I was watching it until I went to the concert and I realized how much of the boat sounds are built into the orchestrations. Like Kate and I were talking about this where it's like the bells and like some of the wind noises. Like I thought those were all sound design and they're not. They're all like in the orchestrations of the music. And that was so cool to
I was really
watch.
surprised. I kind of thought they were going to get an orchestrations nomination too.
Yeah, because the orchestrations are stunning.
Beautiful.
And they did such a good job.
Once again, I listened to No Hard Feelings by itself way
Oh,
too
okay.
often.
And then
So
the next one is, which is controversial, but the last 5 years. And that's just because, again, I have a lot
Not
of
one nomination, right?
Not one nomination.
That's
I had
crazy.
it is one of my favorite musicals of all time.
Yeah.
I do have problems with this
With the current revival.
with the current
Yes,
revival.
agreed.
That being said, J.Th. Robert Brown's
It
new
is
orchestrations
beautiful.
on the last 5 years
Yeah.
are so stunning, and I'm sure we'll get a cast album. I wish Nick Jonas was not on the cast album,
Yeah.
but it's fine. I'm very excited to listen to Adrian Warren and then put back in the Adam Cantor versions.
That's how it is. You always have an album that you want to switch your Jamies
Yes,
and Kathy's
make
with.
my own.
You know,
Jamie's and Kathy's are always
or
different.
you know what? Or I listen to Jeremy. I don't mind, but
Yeah.
I'm a Norbert gal.
like
I'm a
Oh,
Norbert.
yeah.
I'm a Norbert.
no, I'm
also
a
a
Norbert
Norbert
gal,
gal,
but a
too.
Betsy Wolf gal as well.
Yes.
I love
So-
Betsy.
Yeah.
I love all. I listen to both I listen to both the original and the Betsy Wolf one all the time.
All the
Yeah.
time.
So good.
Okay, any final thoughts on creative awards?
I hope they all win. No, I'm just kidding.
I hope everybody gets
I
an
hope everybody
award.
gets a trophy.
All right, sweet. We're going to keep on moving to director.
Woo.
Yeah, we got two. Best direction of a musical. Sahim Ali, Buena Vista Social Club, Michael Arden, Maybe Happy Ending, David Cromer, Dead Outlaw, Christopher Gattelli, Death Becomes Her, and Jamie Lloyd, Sunset Boulevard.
Shout out, men.
And shout out, man.
Oh my God, no.
I actually don't think
Yeah.
that women should be directors.
Yeah, what we need actually is more men in theater.
Best direction of a play, David, Michael. I'm thinking of all the whitest man names I can. No, Nud Adams for English, Sam Mendes for Hills of California, Sam Pinkleton for Oh Mary.
Battle of the Sands.
John Rocker for Villain, and Kip Williams to Picture of Dorian Gray. Thoughts, immediate thoughts.
I love Nud Adams so much. I think he's incredible. I love seeing more of his work on Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really cool.
Oh yeah.
And I think that play was so wonderfully
I
directed.
loved English
The
so
relationships built, the
Yeah.
way that things were paced
Yeah.
was perfect.
Yeah.
I think. So
Yeah.
that's
These
my-
awards are where we break up to just play and just musical and revivals,
Yes.
and they're all combined.
Yeah,
There's always so many snubs. The biggest snub I wrote was Felicia Rashad for Purpose. I thought Purpose was
Oh,
one of the
yeah.
best, like realism,
Interesting.
like earnest, true portrayals on the stage. I don't think like a ton happens, but I think like it's like I just think directing a 3-hour Brandon
Yeah.
Jacobs
That's
is
crazy.
epic, where like half of the actors are nominated for best performances.
Yeah, you
like
have
she
to.
created this show from ground up. Even at Steppenwolf, I was surprised that she didn't get a nomination. I also thought Our Town, Kenny Leon, I really liked Our Town. But it's fine.
choice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it because when we went and saw it, we sat on the stage.
We
and
sat
we were
on
in
the
the graveyard.
stage.
Oh,
and I was like, what a director choice to make
We
me
made our
in the
Broadway
play.
debut, guys.
I made my Broadway
Wait,
debut.
so you're snubbed for not.
We were snubbed.
Well,
Justin
if
and
there's
I.
an ensemble
Yeah,
award,
oh, there we
We
go.
were really good at being the graveyard.
Yeah, we
so
would've
it's actually
won.
really messed up.
But yeah, so that was I know I didn't see it, but I feel like people have talked a lot about R&J and the way they were
Yeah.
able to
Yep.
use the space and everything. I don't know if that was also something for people. But what are immediate thoughts on these?
Dude, Jamie Lloyd, duh. Like, boom. Like, that's all.
Immediate
That's all that
Sunset
matters to
Boulevard?
me. That's
I agree.
really.
I love Michael Arden so much, and that's my own personal thought.
that's okay.
I
And
also
Iris
love
Hayes.
Michael Arden, and I also think that if he wins for Maybe Happy Ending, I'm throwing myself off a balcony.
In a good way or a bad way?
No, like Michael,
in a good way or a bad way? Wait.
I love it so much.
You said in a good way.
Now,
or
I
a
will
bad
say
way.
the main reason I think it could win is because the only place that Tony voters are sitting are Dead Center Orchestra.
Yes. Oh my God. I saw
But-
first preview and I sat third row, which is famously you should be able to see things third row orchestra. I saw maybe
can't see
25% of the
Correct.
show.
It is
That's so messed up.
It has changed since first preview. I also got a rush ticket. I went and saw it. I was
They
sitting like
opened
off
up
to
a
the
lot
left,
of
and
the
it was
screens
opened up a
a
lot
lot
They
more.
did, but you're still
I missed
will say
some.
the majority of the show, depending on where you're sitting, you're seeing. And again, it's a mix of directing and scenic, but like, I do think that like, and I always think Michael Garden did this like Reddit AMA, and someone asked him like, "Where's the best place to sit?" And he's like, "I always recommend Center Orchestra." And I was like, "Oh
Well,
yeah,
I
Michael.
bet you do, Michael Arden. I bet you do.
Orchestra. Oh, a hot take, Michael Arden. Personally,
again-
I like sitting behind the pole in the mezzanine. So it's such a fun hot take.
And again, and I love Michael Arden as director, but this is the consistent thing. Same with Parade. Same had sightline issues if you were not sitting center
Yeah.
orchestra, couldn't see any of the projections. Like
Yeah.
that man is like, I direct to F108. And if you're not there, you are not seeing the show.
If you're poor, die. Basically.
Lindsay. That's so funny.
I'm a big, when I think about direction, I'm a big actor person. That is where my brain goes.
Yes.
It's what it does.
No, you're allowed.
And hey guys, already talked about it. I'm autistic as fuck. And I watched Maybe Happy Ending, and I said, oh, this is one of the most neurodivergent shows I've ever seen.
It's so sweet and soft.
And I got the opportunity to speak to a couple people who worked on it, and I asked them about it. And a lot of that was built in the rehearsal room and in the table work, and it was very purposeful. Things that I was like, oh, that's a small thing that isn't at all related to the plot, but I feel very seen by and I feel understood by. And so there are a lot of very purposeful small moments that made me very happy as part of the direction that filled out that show for me.
Yeah.
And I have not seen this yet, so this is I'm calling it a snub even though I haven't seen it. Alex Timbers Just in Time. Because I just because from everything I've heard, Alex Timbers is
so many of
famous
those
and
creative
amazing.
awards are there, but he's not.
He's not, and
that's
it's
a-
and
Which is
from
confusing.
And from what I've heard, and again, I'm sure it's more just like you can only like they rank 5.
Only nominate so many.
Again, we can talk about the roles of the Tonys later on because I'm sure it'll come up.
Yeah.
But like, you know, there's not a tie, that's why there's only 5 there. And like, but it is interesting because I feel like everyone I've talked to about who's seen Just in Time, it is all the direction, Alex. I mean, they're saying Jonathan Groff and they're saying Alex Timbers.
Alex Timbers.
And so
It's definitely. I thought that was a really big snub. I'm trying to think what other musical snubs.
I had Operation Mince. So I
had Operation Mince meet Just in Time.
Yeah, that's literally it was Sunset
Yeah.
Boulevard, Dead Outlaw, Maybe Happy Ending, Operation Mince and Just in Time.
Yeah.
So I didn't have.
I also want to say a like female director who I think was 100% snubbed just in general. Anna D. Shapiro gets no love letters.
Wait, what did you do?
Eureka Day.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Eureka Day
Which
was
is
I
wild
thought-
because I think that's probably the winner of Best Revival.
Yeah, it's
Like-
it's gotta be, and I can't believe that Eureka Day didn't get a nom for Best Director. It was like, it's just so. I guess like all of the nominations here, they do like things that are a little out of the ordinary. They aren't like fully like they're set in realism, but they had other things they had to deal with. When like Eureka Day and Purpose were very much like realism plays set in one place that like we saw over time. But I think like the nuances and the subtleties within their direction in those pieces were so good.
I have a really hot take for this.
Oh my God, give me the hot take.
I didn't like the direction of Portrait of Dorian Gray.
Whoa.
I thought Sarah Snook did a wonderful job in that. I am so utterly impressed by her. My favorite bit of the show is when it was just her in the trees and none of the screens and none of the wider show.
Really?
That moment was my favorite part of that play. It made me feel the most connected and the most present. And I did not enjoy the wider kind of direction of it.
Yeah.
Which is no slight against anyone.
I was about to say the opposite, which is not the opposite. Agreeing with you in some ways. I'm really glad that Dorian Gray got Sarah and got direction and didn't get Best Play. Like I'm really like because so when you get to Best Play, which I think is the most perfect category of all categories. Yeah. I'm glad. Like I think that because the direction is so interesting and like I don't know if it always worked for me, but I at least like appreciated what they're doing. I also saw Dorian Gray in London, and then I saw it again here. So it's, I kind of had a lot of time to think about it.
Was this another one that had a lot of changes between it?
It only, mostly like it was just like because the spaces are different.
Yeah.
So like I don't think it really changed a lot thematically. It just was more like they had to move some things around in terms of like when they do the scene of her like running around.
Yeah.
In London, they actually had it was under the stage, so she like lifts up this thing and she like crawls into this hole in the ground, and then like they do the whole scene where she's like running around, but it happens under the stage.
That's really
But like they
that's
obviously didn't like build like an underground cavern on the Broadway stage.
In this space, yeah.
But I am glad, because I was a little bit worried it was going to take a best spot, and I'm glad they were just like, we'll give him direction, we'll give her, and then
that'll kind of be the end.
that'll be that.
Well, I'll say this. I don't think Death Becomes Her needed a...
I do not think they should have been there either.
Yeah, I think Death Becomes Her absolutely didn't need a director nomination.
No.
I think that there were like a ton of other...
Again,
personally, just in time.
I was like, I was like,
right into that
Alex
spot.
Timbers.
in there.
I see what you're saying. Like, honestly, I feel like you just have to let that cast go because they're such talented people.
Yeah.
So you as a director just have to be like, here you go. Here's
There's
the
also
text.
a lot of moments
Fucking-
of that show, I think it is over directed, and I think the best parts of Death Becomes Her are when you just let them go.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm like that
Absolutely.
whole like. There's so many moments of it where I'm like, can we get back to
Just
them?
let them.
Yeah,
Like-
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Which is also my book problem with the. And again, I like Death Becomes Her, but there's a lot of it where I'm like, I don't need all of I really just need it, Jen and Megan just doing their thing, and
I
like
want
I
to
think
see
a
it
lot of
again
it is.
now. Oh my god.
Yeah. No, I feel that way. Okay, any other thoughts on director?
Yeah, let me see if there's any.
Any final thoughts? If Picture Dorian Gray was out, what would you put in there?
Let's see.
We're not gonna picture Dorian Gray out. Would you? I mean, I would put Purpose
Job.
in there. Oh, Job got nothing, right?
No.
I feel like I'm fully forgetting it exists.
I think that's what happened.
If Job has 0 fans, I'm dead. I'm gone. I'm not allowed.
I love Job. I didn't
love
even put Job on my snub list because I forgot they existed.
I just like really don't get it. I don't.
That was one of
understand.
Liz's two yesterday. She's like, Maggie, I have 2 opinions.
I have 2 opinions.
I had 2 thoughts, no other thoughts in my brain. I
Yeah.
love. We'll get
I
into
did
it more
love
with
Job.
like
It
best
was
play
so
and best
good.
actor, but like truly,
Because
like,
also that's two-handers are hard.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's particularly in direction.
Yeah.
Because it is, especially when you're in a space where people are coming to Broadway, they're expecting spectacle, they're expecting large.
Yeah.
It is something that needs to be intimate and it needs to be intense. And building the vulnerability of that is really difficult.
And I thought they did though. Like
Yeah.
it was a spectacle. The lights, the drama, the like acting. Like there
Yes.
was not a part of it that I was like, that's just fine. Like it was my. I'm gonna say something controversial. My favorite play I've seen on Broadway.
Yeah.
Wow,
I know.
that is
I don't care.
extraordinarily controversial.
I know it's controversial.
Wait, your favorite play
Hey.
you've seen this season?
No,
Ever?
I just really it just like something about it just like tickled my brain. I can't explain it. And it's something with like no, it's something with my own brain chemistry that like I was like this just really clicked inside of my brain really hard. And I know it's not like the greatest play ever on Broadway. Like that would
But
be a
for you it
that
is.
would be a crazy
Yeah. No, that's super fair.
controversial. That would be controversial to say that, but I will say it's my favorite. Like I just something about it really
I had to look this up, but I also want to give a shout out to Trip Cullum, who did Cult of Love,
Cult
which
of
also
Love.
got no nominations.
Yeah, what?
I was gonna bring
And
that up too.
and again,
Nothing.
They
for
have a
Cult of Love.
movie. They're gonna do
Well,
well.
and again,
in
it's-
that.
and
Like
it's-
it's
no,
fine.
and
They
it's
got a
hard
movie. Will
because
Ferrell's doing it, I think.
Cult of Love, I think, is just like
I made that up.
Cult of Love is just a good. It was just a good show. Like, but it's hard because I'm like I don't know where I would necessarily like take things out to replace it spots. But I just really liked Cult of Love, and so I want, and I think it was extraordinarily well directed when you're dealing with that amount of people in that amount of space.
Yeah.
Like,
Can I say something controversial? I feel like every season, there's one slot for best play for a Hayes
Yes.
show.
Yeah.
And then Winter the Purpose. The Helen Hayes Theater
Yeah.
gets one
One
play.
show. That's
actually
but they,
so
they
real.
always get one, but
Yeah.
they just get
They just
one.
get the one.
Yeah, and this year is Purpose.
yeah, I mean they loved Purpose, and
They
it's funny
loved
because
I love Purpose.
I do too. But it is a lot of people hate it. Like very controversial.
I thought it was
That's
so long.
crazy.
They thought it was long. They thought it was boring, and they thought it was too many monologues.
Wait,
It's like,
wasn't
we were at a
Hills
thing.
like 4 hours?
What?
Wasn't
Hills
Hills
is
4 hours? Wasn't
3.
Stereophonic
Yeah, but I
also
will
super
say
long?
Hills of California was the fastest 3 hours of my whole entire
Hills of
life.
California.
That's true.
I would say Hills of
Same with
California was the
Stereophonic
fastest
last
three
year.
than
I think that's
Purpose.
the thing, though, too, of if you're seeing a play and it's a bunch of monologues, you gotta like monologues.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they're,
Yeah.
and it is a minutia of emotional propulsion and not plot propulsion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that can be difficult.
And I will
Totally.
say, like, for me, the first act of Purpose, one of my favorite moments, like the dinner party scene in Purpose is one of my
So
favorite.
good.
Greatest
But I will say the
theatrical
second
moment.
act, I
Slows
was
down a bit.
sorry to feel it.
Yeah, it slows
yeah,
down a
that's
bit.
fair.
Yeah, I fully agree. Okay, yeah, but yeah, I will say Felicia Sheridan. Is it Michael Hurwitz? He's like one of the youngest directors who did Job.
also friends with my roommate.
Really?
Yeah.
He's doing
Hey.
So cool.
Hey, I want to meet that guy.
Yeah, he was great for Job. Yeah, and Trip Cullum. I was really surprised that they didn't get anything for Cult of Love. But we're gonna keep on. Oh, and then Operation Makes Me
trucking.
for musical. All right, okay, we're gonna keep on moving
Okay.
into featured performance for a play. Okay, we have best performance by a featured actor in a play. Glenn Davis Purpose, Gabriel Ebert for John
Love
Proctor's
it.
the villain.
Love it.
Francis Yu, Yellowface, Bob Odenkirk, Glengarry Glen Ross, a very small amount of Glengarry love. Then Connor Ricamora, O'Mary. And best performance of a featured actress in a play.
Maybe the best category of the whole.
Yeah.
Tonys.
Tala Ash. Is that right? English? Tala Ash. And then Marjan Nishat. Also English. Jessa Hecht, Eureka Day. Finn Estraza, John Proctor's the villain. Carrie Young, Purpose. I don't know how to feel. There's a lot of it's amazing, but I feel like for some reason I wasn't expecting it. For some reason I thought, and I'm happy with what happened. I thought featured actor was just gonna be like all Glengarry love.
Yes. I did too. I had all three of them in mind.
I was so surprised
Which is-
that we didn't
and
get
I-
Bill Burr and Kieran
Culkin. I mean, I was surprised because this has been the whole narrative all season of like, he won the Oscar, he won the Emmy, so he'd been nominated for the Tony. He could have won all three in a calendar year, which is crazy. That being said, I hated Glengarry, so I am not upset. I also don't think we should be producing David Mamet Pros in the year of our Lord 2025.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not upset about it, but like,
Let me enjoy Oleana in peace.
never. 1994. One thing.
Brilliant, beautiful.
2025,
2025, a little
Important
different.
to theater, but
Quite different.
We can.
I mean,
do other things.
Glengarry Glen Ross is literally just a show, a bunch of white guys yelling the F word at each other,
Yeah.
saying slurs, and then they're selling chopsticks in the lobby as merch, which I think is the craziest thing.
But
I
I
Wait,
love
what?
a
I
specific
can't
merch.
afford a ticket to Glengarry. I didn't know that was
I
happening.
do want we went to Floyd Collins. They were selling little flashlights.
I
I was
got
like,
a little
yes,
flashlight.
or like Stereophonic
Right.
selling like
Glengarry
the
Glen
rolling
Ross, because
trays.
the first
Come on.
act takes place in a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, in a Chinese restaurant, and then it's in the
And then it's in an
okay.
office, and Kiernan says a slur for Chinese people many times.
Oy.
And then you walk into the lobby, and I'm like, oh, I can go buy myself some Glengarry Glen Ross chopsticks.
No, I don't want
That's
those.
insane.
Can I give another crazy merch story from this
Yes,
season?
please do.
Yeah.
Which is at the last 5 years, you can get a notebook that says "If I didn't believe in you" on it.
I said no. You told me that. I was like, I'm gonna buy one for Justin.
Oh,
That's
have you not
As a
forgotten my
writer
favorite-
actor couple,
I didn't
I'm gonna get
believe
you.
You know my favorite promo of the whole season is you can pay VIP tickets to the last 5 years, and they do it as date night to the last 5 years,
Yep.
and you
No.
get like
Yep.
champagne and VIP seats, and like, and I was like,
Hey, that's
Who would
crazy.
want to go on a date night to the last 5 years?
Hey, that's
Exactly.
insane.
That isn't like prepared for the show. You
you're
know
like,
what
you're
I
like,
mean?
here's how I'm gonna announce that we're getting divorced. I'm taking you on a date, and I'm gonna be like, see that? That's us.
That's
So I
us.
saw that
Goodbye.
little notebook, and I was like, okay, on the surface, yeah. If like I just saw "If I didn't believe in you," you'd be like, okay, kind of like an inspirational
Yeah.
quote. And then if you think about it for 2 seconds,
Yeah.
you go,
kinda-
oh
Wait.
no.
That's what I imagine happens to a lot of people
Okay.
seeing Cabaret.
Oh,
They're like,
yeah.
oh, fun. And
Yeah.
Life is beautiful.
Okay, wait. Side Tony Award, best merch. I know
the
this
swept
is
away jacket.
Okay,
Have
the
you seen
swept
the
away
swept
jacket.
away whaling
What?
Also,
Wow.
have you seen well, no one gets it because it dropped. Like the day it drops, it sells out. The John Proctor special edition stuff.
Oh,
The-
yeah.
The
yeah,
mirror
the
and
That
the
was
like
cool.
comb and
Yep.
stuff that they're doing.
I love when that
They
we're stepping
hand make
up.
everything, and when I win, I asked, and they sold out. They're like, we get a shipment in, and we're lucky if it lasts like 2 days.
Were you gonna buy it for me?
Yeah, so I was like, I was gonna get you the mirror, but it was sold out by like weeks. It was like insane.
Best boyfriend in the world.
Yeah, that's me. Also, I'll
Take
say
them to the last 5 years.
Yeah, don't take him.
I
Yeah,
want the
once again, as a writer-actor couple, we're not gonna go to the last
I
5
want the
years.
notebook and I want to run away.
I bought a dagger necklace at Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, cool.
Oh, the Romeo and Juliet
That
merch
was
is
so
fire.
cute.
That was great.
And I do have a pudgy from Boo.
Oh, that's really cute.
Oh,
Which
nice.
they did when I bought it, $35. Now it's selling
KJ's
for
all
$45.
Yeah.
They've upped the price
They've upped
of
the
the pudgy.
price.
Same pudgy.
There we go.
That's messed up.
Oh, we do. Liz and I get magnets for every show that we go and see. Wait, speaking of, I don't think you got magnets for Dead Outlaw and Floyd Collins.
I got Floyd Collins. I
Floyd
forgot.
Collins,
I was
There
Dead
you go.
Outlaw. I was distracted
Ridiculous.
by the
But is there a favorite magnet? Mine is probably Hills of California. Is like this like rectangle one with these like dashes. It's like a ticket to like.
show. Oh, Cabaret. It's a bottle opener.
Oh, Cabaret is a bottle
Boom.
opener. That's a
Oh,
good
that's
magnet.
cool.
Yeah. Okay, now that we're out of merch,
Yeah.
So let's talk about.
featured performance of a play.
Gabriel Ebert was so
I'm
good.
so happy.
Was
I was really
so
surprised he
good.
got the nomination.
So much
me
love
too,
for Matilda,
'cause
guys.
That's a realism
know.
thing as well.
Oh my God, I love
so
Matilda.
good.
Oh my God, I love Matilda. That was my first Broadway show. I had a fan account for Matilda, actually. That's my lore.
Did This is where I thought we would have seen Cult of Love a little bit.
Yes.
I thought we would have seen Mare. I thought we would have seen somebody here,
know.
but we didn't see anyone.
Wait, was Glenn Davis the dad in Purpose?
Yes.
Yes, Glenn Davis is the
Yeah.
dad.
Oh, I think honestly, that's my
I thought
vote
it
for
was,
win.
I'm happy with all of these.
Anybody could win, and I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah. I
I
just
was
like
just
the dad in Purpose
surprised.
was such a complicated, like every Brandon Jacob Jenkins character, such a complicated ethical person of like, you are this incredible historical figure, but also you're like, I mean, I can't remember the exact plot, but he was like, climate change isn't real or something like that. Like where I was like, oh, like that's a weird thing to say. Like, but that's just such a fun, like as an actor, such a fun character to play of like, you agree so hard with this. And then like, I feel that way about Appropriate. Like you're like, oh yeah, these are like, it's Sarah Paulson.
Yeah.
I love Sarah Paulson. And then she's horrible. And you're like, but I love Sarah Paulson. Like, it's such a complicated. That's what a good actor, a good character, a good writing for a character is to me. And I feel like that's why I think he might take it.
Because I think there were 67 eligible best performance.
That's crazy.
Something like that for performing actor. So there was really a lot of ways
There's
to
a
go.
ton.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I do, like, I'm really glad Conrad is here. I'm really glad. Everyone that's here is great.
Yeah.
Like,
If you had to add one,
I-
if they came to all of us and said,
Well, because we
hey,
are.
you four are allowed to each pick one to add, what would that one be?
I really wanted Gabby Beans. And I knew we probably weren't getting Gabby
for
Beans.
Romeo
but
and Juliet?
yeah. I just am obsessed with Gabby. And mostly, I don't know if you guys.
She's so good in
She's
that
so,
show.
and she's so good in every. I want, like, my dream play is a play where Kara Young and Gabby Beans play either sisters or lovers.
yeah.
They can do
Lovers,
either. I
lovers,
won't be
lovers.
mad.
So
But like
good.
two of our best young
Yeah.
talents. And I mean, I also like, I don't know if you saw Jonah. It was my favorite thing I saw like last year. It was,
Jonah's so good.
one of
I
the best
miss
things I've ever
Jonah.
seen.
I've read it a million times.
We bonded over
we
reading
did.
One
Jonah.
of Gabby Beans and Jonah was one of the best performances I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But so I mean, Fam's like, I got 4 out of 5 actresses. And I only got 2 of featured actors.
Who were
So
the other 3 that didn't get it that you thought?
I didn't have Glenn. I didn't have, because I had all 3 of the.
Oh, you had all 3 of the Glengarry.
So I had all 3 of the Glengarry boys. I had Conrad, and then I had Andrew Burnap from Othello,
from
which also
Othello.
didn't get anything.
Dude.
Did wonderful in that show.
Great.
Oh, I have
Crazy.
thoughts.
Oh,
I have
and
feelings.
did you guys
And
see Othello?
hey, you know,
I paid $400 for my ticket.
$400.
Because I was-
Justin
I-
Borak funded that chess set.
I paid for Jake
What?
Gyllenhaal's dressing room.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would you?
Because I was excited.
for
I love
free,
Shakespeare.
and that was the only way I was
I
going.
love Shakespeare,
for
and I really wanted to see Othello. And also, I
$24.
think this might be Denzel's last time going abroad. I don't
He
know.
should.
maybe-
It should be
yeah.
his last time. He should never touch
I
a
know.
stage ever again.
I would, if I
Yeah.
was his age, I'd be on a beach. I'd be like, peace out.
Well,
I hate all of
actually,
you.
sorry, this is not a Tony thing, but this is my happiest moment of my whole year. Was when Olivia Washington got nominated for the Drama Desk, in which her father could also have been nominated for the Drama Desk and was not, and she was. And I don't know if you guys saw Wine in the Wilderness. Olivia Washington was
She's amazing.
Wait,
So-
that's Denzel Washington's
That is
daughter? Which
Denzel
one?
Washington's
the,
daughter.
The main girl?
The main, like,
the girl they're taking.
she
they're-
was
the girl that they're drawing.
incredible.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
And again, now that you've thought, and I think about how she speaks, because what I couldn't get over was her cadence is identical to Denzel.
his, yeah.
When she's giving monologues, I was like, this is so weird.
If you watch early Denzel performances and then you
They
go and
sound
see Wine in the
identical.
Wilderness,
Love
they
a
sound
Nepo
exact
baby.
same.
It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
Yeah,
great.
it's
I was
cool.
like, genetics are wild.
I do love it when a Nepo baby works out.
Oh no, I mean,
Yeah,
she's
I mean, Nepo
both
babies are
kids are
talented.
great.
Yeah,
she's
awesome.
unbelievable. Like, anyway,
She was
but,
He reminds me. She's like Jack Quaid. Like there are Nepo babies that I see and I'm like,
I
I
love
love
Jack
you.
Quaid. I love
but anyway,
You're
I
good to
I
me.
famously was not in Othello. I wasn't bored during Othello. I just was not a fan of Othello. Yeah,
I
I was mostly just so shook by like what was happening. I was like, where's this going? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
I felt like Denzel and Jake
I do think
and
Andrew
were-
Burnap was really good.
I thought he
though.
was great.
I
I
thought
thought
he
Jake
was
Gyllenhaal was
great.
great.
Oh, I see.
I love when
I thought
my
he was a
Iago
great
is
Iago.
full of self-loathing.
Yeah.
I
Really?
could
I
not.
love a self-loathing Iago, and
Yeah.
he ate that. He
No,
was
he-
like, I hate myself, and therefore I hate you. And I
Yeah.
said, so true.
Yeah.
And it's his first time doing Shakespeare.
Really?
I could
Yeah,
tell
he said
because
that.
he ran through every one of his lines.
Hell yeah.
He said his lines so fast. I was like, dude, I'm
There
picking
were
up 60% of what
Some
you're
things
saying.
at the very beginning that got to me because he is very racist in the beginning of Othello.
And people are
Oh, super.
giggling,
And
people
laughing
are
because
giggling
he's
because
also
we're not
running through
telegraphing
the
the
lines.
That did.
Yeah.
That was my biggest gripe. I mean, I have 1,000 gripes with Othello. My biggest gripe was that they really played so many lines for
They said
comedy.
fast forward.
Yeah, they were just like, let's
There
speed through
are
this.
some
sucker as
things
fast as
people around me
possible.
were laughing, and I was like, "Oh, guys, he's being one
Super
of the
racist.
most racist people in theater right
Yeah.
now." Like,
Taylor
that
Swift
is-
was right. about him.
Gone
Like,
from
truly.
I will say my big snub, and I know everyone's going to judge me for this. I love Zoe Deutsch and Ephraim Sykes.
I did.
Oh, actually, yeah.
In Our Town,
I didn't even like
I thought
Our
they were
Town. I was
great.
like, I don't know.
So
But
Both of them were one. I
they
also
were amazing.
I was very lucky where I got invited to the final rehearsal run through of Our Town.
That's so
Oh,
cool.
sick.
So it was in the.
Your
It was
life is so
in.
cool.
It was. Whenever I get invited, I will say, I'll give Kenny credit for this. Kenny likes to have people in the new people in the room during rehearsal.
Yeah.
Because he likes to hear so I got to do that for Pearly and I got to do that for Our Town.
Our Town, yeah.
And so when I saw Our Town there, I was like, I'm obsessed with the show because everyone's in rehearsal clothes. We're sitting in a rehearsal room. Everything's just like marked out on the ground, which of course ended up being the actual just set
Yeah,
of Our
literally the set.
and so being there and being like 4 feet away from everyone watching it happen, I was like, Jim Parsons getting a Tony. Everyone's getting a Tony.
That's how we thought because we were sitting
Yeah,
on the
'cause you're
stage.
right
right, right. And when you're that close, and then when I
felt
saw the
included.
show, I was in the mezz, and I was like, oh, I'm getting none of this is translating.
None of what you were
back
getting in
here.
the rehearsal room
No.
got to there.
Like
Yeah.
you couldn't feel it at all, other than the smell of bacon. And I was like, I can't do this. I
Yeah.
can't do bacon smell in
There
the
was
theater.
a lot of bacon
Yeah.
smell.
Also, I want
That's
to.
crazy.
I know.
Yeah, there was bacon. There's a couple different smells, and I was like, I don't think I like a smell-o-vision theater. I think we
Yeah,
can
a smell
skip
of vision theater.
this. I love it immersive. I don't love a smell immersive. Like,
Funny. I really want to shout out Fina Straza. I feel like
God,
we saw it and we were
yes.
like, there's no, because she's so young.
Yep.
And it's like kind of all the roles that got nominated in John Proctor. I'm kind of shocked just because of the size of the role, because it's really such an ensemble piece. But like I saw her and I was like, that's some of
It
the
was
best acting I've ever
incredible.
seen on
It
Broadway.
was
It's insane.
She's amazing.
She's just
She's
her
so
comedic
endearing.
timing.
Also
She just has
the
that
role
vibe.
the role of Beth in John Proctor's Villain, I think, is one of the hardest.
Oh,
roles
yeah.
in
Famously,
that
like,
play.
I mean, I love that play so much. No, Beth is no one's favorite, but she made it everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
Like, and that's, again, like,
it's
the
tough.
most impressive thing.
We should have
And what
squeezed-
a
I think-
complicated person.
Yes,
And what
exactly.
but complicated in a way that you don't think about as a moral complication
Yes.
very often.
I just hope I'm just assuming they sent Grace Walker's TikTok to every member of the
Yeah.
nominating committee.
I feel like Grace is secretly a Tony voter.
voter.
She's not
Grace
telling
Tony
us.
voter.
I think she's
And one of the reasons I liked Beth is because after that show, Grace sat us down while we were drinking margaritas
Yes.
and read stage directions aloud.
Yes.
From
That's
John
the most-
Proctor's
and that's just a
Villain.
regular Tuesday.
Shout out Grace Walker.
The second that this is like again like I'm getting into the politics of the Tonys,
Yeah.
but the second that they announced that Sadie was going leading, because there was a lot of talk about them pushing Sadie down to supporting, I was like, this is for her, because I was like, the only reason you push Sadie to lead is so that Fina can get in for performance.
Featured,
Yeah.
And I will say, then I wasn't 100% sure who they were pushing, because if you look at the drama desks,
Yes.
Amelia got the
Yes.
nomination
Yeah, Amelia
and
got the
not
nom.
Sadie or Fina. And so
Yeah.
I was like, oh, are they pushing Amelia over? And I love Amelia.
I thought Amelia was
Yeah.
great.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Right,
actually
but
kinda sad
I
she
was
didn't
like,
get
oh,
anything.
it's going to be Fina. And then because of the drama desk, which was 24 hours before, I was like, oh, are they not pushing Fina? Like, are they pushing Amelia?
Yeah.
Because I just was shocked
Yeah.
that Amelia was the one that got, again, Sadie was not nominated. Fina was not nominated. The only acting nomination was Amelia. So then I
Yeah.
wasn't sure. But I actually kind of love the fact that now Amelia gets a drama desk or like nomination and Fina gets. And then,
not everyone's kind of getting there.
Yeah.
I will say one of the biggest surprises, which I'm so happy about, is Gabriel Ebert.
oh,
Yeah,
I did not even
absolutely.
think for a second he was going to get it. Not that he was bad, just
Because
I was
that's
like,
also a character that you're like, oh, that's a moral complication that feels
Yeah.
so real
Yeah.
that we don't
Yeah.
see
I don't
very often.
God, the end, his acting just
Never
once
trust a
reveal.
male English teacher.
guys, are you
Fun
No,
Robert,
fact.
never.
did you not
Never
read the Wrapped review by Robert Hoffler? He was the only good part of the show.
Well,
That review
no.
is crazy.
No,
there's
that's
a
crazy.
couple reviews this season that were insane.
That review is the craziest review I read for multiple reasons. One, he says Gabriel Ebert is the only good part of John Proctor. Two, goes there's a direct line in the I remember I'm not reading this, memorized it. He goes
We can confirm Ashley's
I
not
always
reading this.
I always wonder if playwrights ever see other plays, because then they would know that this topic is like done to death.
Oh my god.
So he just hates women, or
And
they just hate
then
women.
he
I remember
goes,
watching your
wait.
TikTok about this one. Yeah.
I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I just find it so crazy. And then there's another line later on where he goes, plays champion diversity, unless of course it's a toxic male, then it's always a white guy. And I was like, I'm losing my
You know what,
mind.
guys? Sometimes art reflects life.
Oh God.
Also, I would like to point out in John Proctor, it is basically
Which
gonna
we
Back
got
out
beautiful copies
reference
of. Thank you,
the
DPS.
play. Kimberly literally says basically that both the teacher, name I'm forgetting, and the
Carter.
and the boyfriend
Yeah.
have to be white guys, and that's because
Yeah.
she doesn't want the politics of it being a non-white person Yeah. Being, I mean, like, as in she wants the thing to just be about the.
And as someone who grew up where that play takes place, at the time the play takes place, those are white men, guys.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I'm really happy that
Lee and Mr. Smith are white, full stop. I imagine Beth is white too, given the nature of her fumbles and oversights, but she can also be played by a non-black POC.
Boom. Mm-hmm. Simple. I wish that person who wrote that review read the first page.
One single, for literally page 1.
We pulled it open and read it out. I am like so shocked, but in such a good way that Gabriel got a nomination.
Oh, yes.
So I do think his performance is wonderful.
He's so
It's
good.
wonderful.
So
because
good.
again,
also the immediate sense of discomfort that I had when that man walked on stage.
Oh, and it's so funny because so many people don't have that. Like, I did too. He walks on stage, I go, that man's a creep.
Yeah,
and I'm with a friend who
because
goes,
people don't know.
You think so? And I was like, see, you're not. I can tell you.
Oh,
Justin
you didn't
can tell
know?
you I didn't know because he was
Yeah.
listening.
Oh, I didn't know
to the
either.
reaction
Oh,
to the
I
entire
never read it.
show.
I've seen John Proctor a couple times now. The first time I saw it was directly in front of Maggie Hill, and
Of course.
I've read the play 50 times. I've seen it multiple times before it went to Broadway.
I read The
And
Crucible for the first time that
morning.
That's crazy, Maggie.
And I
love
heard,
you.
so I knew everything that was coming. I even knew the Broadway cut. Like, I've read the recent cut before it went. So like, I knew everything about this show. And when the big Sadie Sink line, when that hits, I heard Maggie Hill go, "Oh my gosh!" out loud. Which,
I bet everyone said
well,
that.
yeah, but she didn't matter because everybody did. But it was just really funny.
It's my favorite because and I've only seen it twice now. But the second time, I was like, I wasn't even
You're
watching
in on the
her.
jokes.
You're in
I'm
on the
like
joke.
watching everyone else.
Well, my thing is with his performance, with Gabriel Ebert's performance, the whole time my brain was going, "Who's it going to be?"
Yes.
I was like, I
Yeah.
knew immediately the guy was a creep.
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
immediately there was some relationship happening. The way that he talked to Beth, I was
Creepy,
like, oh,
creepy,
that's
creepy,
bad.
creepy.
That's the beginning of a grooming relationship.
Yeah.
Who the fuck else is he grooming in the show
Yeah.
that we're going to find out about? Because there's somebody there.
So one of my favorite things about this production of John Proctor is that in so many productions that I've seen, it ends with the big dance number and all that stuff. I've never seen it end with the character of Beth standing up.
Yes.
Oh, that broke my heart.
And I love that it's that black. It kind of is
Wait,
like
that's crazy.
yeah.
That was so
I saw it at
important
Pitt.
for
I've
her.
also seen
No. But that's crazy. That's crazy because
Yeah.
like to me, not to bring this back to another play, but like it's the Hills of California of it all, where Hills of California in London is a completely different third act, right?
Yeah.
Where like they don't.
Wait, really?
Oh, Hills of California in London, completely different third act, involves a baby that Laura Donnelly's character is bringing to her sisters. They rewrote. So basically they were reworking the third act. Laura Donnelly's husband, Jeb Butterfield, wrote the play.
Butterworth, yeah.
Thank you. Wrote the play. And in 10 days,
Butterfield is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Butterworth.
Butterfinger.
Yeah.
Butterfinger.
In 10 days, rewrote the entire third act, and they had to put it on stage,
my God.
in rehearsal. Like, there's a whole really good article about it. You should all look it up.
Yeah.
But the moment of the staircase did not happen in London,
That's the best.
That's
which is
insane.
crazy because that to me is like
That is
the
the play.
moment
As
of the
someone
play.
who has not seen it, that is the thing I hear talked about
Yeah.
the most.
That
Yeah.
is the
the
moment.
staircase moment in Hills of
You
California.
also, Kate, I have it at my apartment because I made Kate bring it because Kate had a copy of the London production because you cannot buy the London script anymore.
No, I only have the current script.
Yes, for Hills of California. So,
Wow.
but completely different third act, which I also, when we get to this
That's so
conversation a little bit, we'll talk
interesting.
about it. But that moment of her standing up is like the whole show. Like
Yeah, I
that's
know.
the moment of the show. Like I don't understand how. To me, I'm like it doesn't work without that.
No.
That moment of her going, oh, is like that's it.
Yeah. Which is awesome. I love that. It kind of makes me think of also like Stranger Things, where like at the end I was like I wanted him to just be like, oh, who are you? And it's this like bald little girl. It's like very clearly 11. Like that's where the blackout comes.
See, it does say now Beth stands up.
Oh, it says Beth stands up now.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what I
maybe
thought because I read it.
In
'cause I
an
was like,
earlier iteration, it didn't, or maybe the earlier we
Yeah.
saw a collegiate production
Got it.
that I remember. I very much remember that not happening.
yeah, because it goes at the end. Beth stands up. She looks a little surprised at herself. The other girls see her. We see them see her. She takes a step towards them. Is she gonna dance too? She might. She just might black out. Which also is like,
Wait, that made
Beautiful.
tears come to
Tears.
my eyes.
I know,
Here's the thing. Maybe it's been there the whole time, and I saw a production where they were like, no,
which is crazy.
which is an insane pull.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The
Okay.
end of Infinite Life. That did that to me.
God,
The
it's
other
so
one that
good.
I mean, I know you guys know this, but the if you read the end of Fat Ham, it is like one of the most beautifully
Yeah.
written
So
stage
gorgeous.
directions I've ever read in my
Oh,
whole
wow,
life.
prettiest. Okay, here we go. Another quick one. We got featured performance for a musical.
Sorry, we didn't mention Carrie Young, and I just want to.
Oh yeah, and just Carrie Young is talented.
Shout out Carrie Young
That's
for
it.
4 straight.
Four
right?
straight.
Shout out Carrie Young for existing.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I feel like because Carrie Young is now just going to be a staple in every Tony season for us forever,
Yeah.
because I refuse to let her go to TV movies
Absolutely.
and we cannot lose her.
Yeah.
But I just.
Personally, like I think if you're a playwright, you're just praying. I think every playwright for the rest of existence is just gonna write a featured character for Carrie Young because it guarantees you a Tony nomination.
Correct. Yes.
That's all you need. You just need to write a role.
Her fourth year
for
on
Carrie Young.
Broadway, her fourth Tony nomination,
Yeah.
her 4th year of
They've all featured, right? They've all been
all featured.
Because
Yeah, I think
Pearlie
so.
wasn't leading.
And
Pearlie wasn't leading.
Clyde
Cost
was.
of Living was not leading, and neither
Clyde
was
wasn't
Clyde.
leading.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Love you, Carrie Young.
Love you,
That's
Carrie
crazy.
Young. I just wanted to make sure we said Carrie Young.
Yeah, just say her name.
Oh
Yep.
no, my God! Shout out Carrie Young, 100%.
And we're going to my favorite category.
Feature performance in a musical.
If you watch a beautiful clip by Ash Hufford on her Instagram, you will see me and her freaking the fuck out listening to these nominations.
It's the best thing
Continue.
ever.
Okay, ready? All right. We can recreate this because best performance by a featured actor in a musical. Brooks, I will never say his name.
Ashmanskis.
Nice. Smash. Jeb Brown, Dead Outlaw, Danny Burstein, Gypsy, Jack Malone, Operation Mincemeat, Taylor Trench, Floyd Collins. Best performance for a featured actress in a musical, Natalie Venetia Belkin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Buena Vista Social Club, Julia Knittl.
Nidal.
Oh, that's
No
better.
K. No K. Yeah.
Nidal. Dead Outlaw, Gracie Lawrence, Just in Time, Justina Machado, Real Women Have Curves, and Joy Woods, Gypsy.
I haven't seen Just in Time. I just love Gracie Lawrence. So like, just that's that.
I want to say I put Gracie Lawrence in my nomination in like my list of nominations, and I showed people to, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like,
Have
"I
you
haven't
seen
it
her
yet,
sing?
but
Are you
I've
kidding
se-
me?
just her vocals
Yeah. It's insane.
on this show.
But
are
I've also heard her
absolutely
acting is incredible.
brilliant. I bet that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So
Well, because
She also is a Broadway baby.
I didn't
Like,
realize
I feel
that
like
she was a
people
Broadway baby.
forget
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
like she grew up doing it.
What was she in?
I think
she
it was
an
a Neil
Annie?
Simon play.
She was in
Black Blues? No.
Plaza Suite.
No.
Brand Beach Memoirs.
Probably.
I don't know.
I think that there's a lot of, and I won't call out, but Maggie knows what I'm talking about. There's a lot of famous, talented vocalists on Broadway right now. And that doesn't mean that you get a Tony nomination. Like, she has to be a good actor also.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And obviously we know her vocals show up.
Yeah.
But like, she has to slay. And I haven't seen it, but I know she does.
Yeah. For me, my biggest snubs are Death Becomes Her, Christopher Sieber and Michelle Williams.
Christopher
Yeah.
Sieber is so good.
Interesting.
The puppet musical number, come on. That's my whole
thing-
personality.
I love
Christopher
Chris
Siebert.
Siebert. Michelle Williams is not a snub.
No,
I like that opening number of
And I
Act
love
Two
Michelle
so
Williams,
much.
but
Maybe I
yeah.
just like her costumes, but
Yeah.
she's so fun to watch.
She's a great singer. I think what she's
Yeah.
doing is a thing.
It's perfect for the
It's
show.
like-
It's perfect. She's doing exactly what she should be. But
But
Christopher
her
Sieber
costumes are
wasn't
so
so.
pretty.
And I will say,
That's so
she's
true.
also like, not to be this person. I was invited to this influencer event. I thought was I was invited to this event for the cast recording launch.
Yeah.
I thought it was an influencer event. So I was like, okay, cool. I walk in, first person I see is Michelle Williams, and I was like, where
I'd
am
freak
I?
out.
Like, I just thought I was gonna be like, because it was at a tiny gay bar in Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, there's me drag queens are playing the album. I was like, great. So I just thought it was like gonna be like a normal.
They
influencer
lip
thing.
synced to the album. I saw
Wait,
the
was that
videos.
Lux
It was
Norlin?
so
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
Oh my
that's
God,
so
she looked great.
But
She
literally
looked
walked in, and the first person, and I was like, where am I? What's happening?
great. Michelle Williams is
and
crazy.
then I see Jen Savard, and then I see Megan.
Oh,
and I was
I'd
like,
lose
I'm
my
having a
mind.
breakdown. So it was like the cast album party, but they just invited influencers, and I was like,
I
I
would
want to
throw
hide
up.
in the corner and bother no one.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so bad at these events because I'm like, the last thing I want to do is like go talk to anybody because I'm like they're with their like cast members having
working.
a thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to go ask for content.
But it's
I don't
Megan
wanna-
Hilty. I want to, but I'm
Right.
not gonna.
The only person I talked to was Julia because Julia Mathis is just the loveliest, brightest person.
God.
And I had just seen her at she did like a thing for Maestro, which is the like women and non-binary whatever. And I was
Yeah.
like, I saw your performance where she sang, Julia sang from the show. And I was like, you were great. She's like, oh, thanks. I was really nervous. I was like, no, you're amazing.
That's so nice.
And it was very funny because she was doing an auction and Drew Galen her husband kept like, it was,
I forgot.
yeah,
that
Broadway
they're
people
married.
married, Broadway people married.
The auction was for dinner and like tickets to the show. And so with Julia.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was so funny because Drew kept raising the price, like kept bidding on it. And then he was like,
That's really cute.
and afterwards he was like talking in a group and like my friend knows him. And so she was talking to him and he's like, and then I realized like, I can't even use it if I had one because I'm in a, he's
Yeah,
curly it and
he's in
Juliet.
Aunt Juliet.
He's like, so I was like bidding on it, like with true intention. And then I was like, wait, I can't even go.
I can't even go.
I'm He's like,
busy.
I have a job.
I have a job. I can't make it. Oh God. I will say I think another big snub is Marcus Choi and
Duran.
I would have loved
Louisiana baby.
I
Really?
thought,
Love him.
yeah,
Oh,
I thought there
man.
was like an off chance we might because I think of the, but you know,
Yeah.
I have so many opinions about
Yeah,
featured
snubs,
actor and
thoughts.
music.
I've also heard Jason Gaultier was in a ton of
that
people's
was-
Oh,
lists.
yeah.
I did not have Taylor and I had Jason, not because I don't think Taylor didn't deserve
Liz,
it.
you will
I-
see. Okay, we did our ballots
Yes.
yesterday. Hi guys, my name's Maggie Hill, and I am the newly elected head of the Taylor Trench fan club.
Yeah.
I love that man. Do I know him? No. Have I ever interacted with him in my life? No. Do I feel a strange amount of motherly pride for this young man? Yes, I do.
Yeah, you do.
And I wrote on our ballot yesterday. I didn't have him marked, but I had next to it, "This is my dream."
Oh,
written next
that's
to
good.
it. But he switched with two people in the Drama Desk Awards that I thought were going to get this. That one was Jason Gaultier, who rules in that
So
show.
good.
Oh my God! And
He
the
plays the
tone of his
brother.
notes- Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And then also Nick Brash in
Pirates.
Yes.
He is
Oh, yeah.
wonderful.
I
He's
heard
a
he's
Frederick,
amazing.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just got a Drama Desk nom for
Yes.
it. So those were the two that I thought were going to be on
Yeah.
this list that
Yeah.
switched out.
The other, this is more of a conversation topic, not actually a like snub, because we'll talk about this shortly. But I think there's a world in which if they had pushed Helen to featured, we would see Helen here.
Oh, 100%.
And
But
I
she's
think-
not featured.
Right, because she's but Natalie's not featured. Like Natalie is the lead of Buena Vista Social
Yeah,
Club,
that's
and
true.
I think there's an argument to be made.
But there's so many characters in Buena Vista.
Yes, but
that-
I also
yeah.
think there is an argument to be made with Helen that you're like the lead is Darren, and Helen is. And I'm not saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I don't think it's true, but get them a nomination.
But that's
I
more.
agree.
That's more. I'm not,
Yeah.
again, I don't necessarily like I don't necessarily agree.
Yeah.
But I think there is an argument that could have been made
Yes.
that Helen was featured,
Yes.
in which Helen could be in this category.
Yeah.
And I would have
Oh,
liked
if
to
Helen
see.
somehow was featured, I think
Right.
it shouldn't even have been. I would be even more
Yeah.
mad than I will be when we get to that
Yes.
slide. But like, I 100% agree.
And then I went to Smash first preview, had not been back to Smash, and then I went to Smash last night, and I am just obsessed with Brooks. And I think he's
Yeah.
so talented. I'm so glad he's nominated here. There's something about the way Brooks' physicality and the way that he can move his body that is like so fresh and
He's so
smart
funny,
and
too.
so funny, and he's so good in Smash in just a way that like I was like, God, I'm so glad because he was on my like kind of long list, but I didn't have him in my 5. And I'm just really glad he's here, and I'm also really glad that Jeb Brown is here.
Yeah.
Because I think
love Jeb Brown.
well,
in that show. He is
and
fantastic.
nobody was talking about Jeb Brown. Everyone was talking about
Andrew.
Tom Sesma.
I was talking about just
No,
Tom.
yeah.
Also is wonderful in that.
Wonderful, and he's also like an industry beloved person. But he has one big moment in
Yes.
Dead Outlaw, and Jeb again. Honestly,
He
you
is
could
the
argue
show.
Jeb. You could
Jeb
argue
is
is
the
actually
show.
the lead of the show.
The lead of the show.
Like, but
That
again,
moment where he switches to being a character
Oh
in the
my God,
story rather than
perfect.
the narrator of the story is
But again,
wonderful.
if Jeb is a featured, Helen Jason
is also a featured.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's just no like.
It's
rules.
weird. It's kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
and it's because she's top billed too, right? Because she's like sharing it with Darren Criss above the title that she
so
has
you'd have to argue her down,
Yeah.
which they've done in other categories.
But
But
it's been tough.
I
yeah.
also, speaking of Dead Outlaw, though, I was so pleasantly surprised to see Julia Nightel in this.
I'm so happy.
She is
Shout out to the Jimmy
wonderful in
Awards.
that show.
She's got a great bob.
Oh,
Great
great
song.
Bob.
She
Her
does.
voice is
Great bob.
And she also does
Crazy.
2 entirely different vocal
Oh, yeah.
performances in that show.
Yeah, true.
In the 2 different
Yeah.
acts.
She was really good.
They're wonderful.
What about another snub I've been hearing a lot about? David, Grace, and Diego, all from Sunset. Did you
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like they should have made their way in there? or
I
any of
actually
them?
think the only one that should have made it is David. I mean, David.
David
David was on
he
my list, and
is
he's
so good in that show.
Yeah.
Diego and
Oh,
Grace. I think
yeah.
are harder because this is a long conversation for a different time where I'm like, we need a supporting and a featured as 2 different categories.
Yeah.
Because I think there are moments
Oscar it up, baby.
right where
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm like, you have your support. Like, I want a role for the like, you have the
For like
one
the
moment.
supporting lead.
Yes.
If they were supporting and featured, I would happily immediately be like, oh, Helen J. Shen can go to supporting. Like
Right. But
she
is
could
it
be
like-
leading, but she could easily go to supporting if
Yes.
there's that featured
Right.
spot too.
Because then you get the moments also for like, I mean, Joy Woods is a good example. Like, but Joy Woods is in half of the show.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Anyway, but
Yeah.
and then you have spots for like a Jordan Tyson from Gypsy where she can
Yes.
be in that featured role. Like, so you
Yeah.
have anyway.
Or like Leslie Margarita, where I very much,
Yes.
Liz and I have talked about it a lot, where
Yeah.
like how big is that role? Does it?
Right, and it's hard.
Yeah.
How do you put Leslie and Natalie in the same category?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
hard.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
It's so, that's very, very true.
right, like, and that's not a shade to Leslie at all. That's the role.
Yeah.
But it's hard when you're trying to gather anything that's not leading into one category.
Totally. Yeah.
You know.
Any other thoughts on featured performance for musical?
Danny Burstein will always just be there because he's Danny Burstein and beloved, and
I think it's great. If there's anything I'm 100% sure of, it's Jack Malone.
Oh,
for
yeah, that's
Operation Itsy for featured actor.
Oh, really?
I also
Operation
think
Itsy.
because
I
again,
think there are so many on that list though that could win.
Yeah, it's a tough race.
Jack is just doing so much and so many roles. That's what's like crazy about Mincemeat is that obviously Dear Bill is like the big moment, but Jack is also
Who's the American that
he's
plays?
He's the
American flying high.
Yeah,
da, da, da.
so good. He's
so funny.
He's Spilsbury. He's just. I mean, again, he's featured, but he's playing a leading featured role where he's literally in 99% of the show.
All 5 of them.
85. Right, you could have made an argument for almost all of them to be leading.
But I'm so happy that they were able to drop Jack to feature.
And he did. He also he's coming in with the Olivier win
for featured.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I also, and I'm coming back to it, I think Skeets Miller is such an underrated role in musical theater.
Yes.
When it comes to that show, it is the emotional core of Floyd Collins. Doesn't sing that much, but the motifs that go under his lines are the ones that run through the entire show.
Which makes me sad because I'd like him to sing because I love Taylor's voice.
Shout out to Safety Not Guaranteed and Taylor Trench in that show. That was great. God. Anyway.
And then, sorry, I have to give a quick shout out to my girl, Joy Woods.
Yes. She is so good in that show,
and
too.
She's just,
my God.
She deserves all the things. And I think Joy is going to be she's the future of theater.
Yes.
Like she is the next, current
I'm
generation.
Not worried about her. That's the thing.
No,
she will be nominated.
People like
for
her
the
and Helen
Tonys
J.
forever.
Shen, like if she also got snubbed, I would feel the same way about Helen J. Shen. I'd be really pissed about it, but also I'd be like, I'm not.
It's just
worried.
not their year.
That was last year
for you, and it's gonna.
Because I when she got snubbed for The Notebook, we saw Joy last year get snubbed for The Notebook. Then The Notebook explode. Then the My Day stuff exploded.
Yeah.
And so I'm really glad to see her represented here. And and
also a big fan of the theater meme awards where it was Best Abe Lincoln.
Yes.
Oh, so funny.
And that cracked me up so much, and I was like, you know what? And Joy Woods would win.
Yeah, actually, she has my vote.
And then sorry, quick, I'm just gonna do all of them because I love. And then Justina, she's the mom in Real Women Have Curves.
Yeah.
Incredible.
This is the second. They got 2 nominations.
Yes.
They got Best Score,
and
then this.
And she's she's the emotional heart of the show.
Yeah.
She also is a very complicated character because part of the arc of Real Women is that her youngest daughter is an American citizen, the only citizen in the family, and she's just gotten in. They live in California. Her daughter has gotten into Columbia for journalism and wants to go to college, and her mom is like, no, you can't leave the family. We need you here. You can't go.
Yeah.
And it's a very complicated, complex, but really beautiful relationship. And I love the work that she's doing in this. I'm really glad that she's here. I know we kind of stopped doing winners, but we're picking a winner here. I think Natalie is the front runner by a long shot.
I think she is too.
Because she just has insane presence in the way that she reminds me a lot, honestly, of our winner last year, where Keisha Lewis walks on stage and you just feel.
And
I think Natalie has that same thing.
I think if it doesn't go to Natalie, it goes to Joy Woods.
I also think the things that my 2 favorite fun facts about Natalie. One, she was the original
Avenue Q.
She
was oh my gosh.
Now Gary.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, we're bad people. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. I know exactly what you're talking about. She was the original though in Avenue Q of Gary. Oh my gosh.
Gary Coleman. Sorry, I'll give you a fresh take of this one. Okay, 2 fun facts about Natalie. One, original Garrett Coleman in Avenue Q, which is just about the most different acting performance you can get from.
When I
one
saw
to the
that
other.
in her playbill, I was like, "What are you talking about?"
The second is she is not a Spanish speaker, and she learned Spanish for Buena Vista Social Club, which I think is so cool. Yeah, she's I think. I'm gonna check, but I think she's also Trinidadian, Melanie LeBerry. Yeah. Because I was and when I read, because I was looking up, honestly, I was doing a video and I was like, how do you pronounce her name? I wanted to try to pronounce it right, and then there's an article about how she basically learned Spanish to play the role, and I was like, that's she's from Trinidad.
That's the fact that she's the original Gary Coleman. I remember seeing that, being like, "Oh, that's crazy." I didn't know Buena Vista was a comedy, and then I watched Buena Vista, and I was like, it's not. She's brilliant.
She's incredible.
Good actor.
Oh, cool. She's really talented.
And now I really want, because I want her and Melanie LeBerry to do Sideshow together, a Trinidad Sideshow.
Oh my god.
Anyway, that's all.
Yeah, I definitely think that she's the front runner. For me, I feel like a lot of these categories, it's hard to be like, I think this person's gonna win. But this is one of the ones where, personally, I see Natalie and Jack winning. I also could see Taylor popping in there, but I think I mean, featured actors hard too because they love Brooks and they love Danny.
Yeah, there's a lot. Featured actors are really hard. And we'll get to this too with lead actor.
Yeah.
Like the actor categories, I think there's so much up in the air because there's so many different factors that are coming into play,
Yes,
both
100%.
politically, like the way that they're seen as the industry people, and then also just like obviously performance. They're all good performers. That's not.
Natalie does to me feel like the most lost.
And I also think because again, this is a role that you could easily argue into leading. That she's again, there's a lot of people in Buena Vista. I think there's a reason she's in featured, but I definitely think that like the work she's doing and her presence is just out of this world.
Yeah, totally. Okay, best performance for a leading actor in a play. George Clooney, Good Night and Good Luck. Cole Escola, Oh Mary. John Michael Hill, Purpose. Daniel Day Kim, Yellowface. Harry Lennox, Purpose. And Louis McCartney, Stranger Things, The First Shadow. Best performance by leading actress in a play. Laura Donnelly, The Hills of California. Mia Farrow, The Roommate. LaTanya Richardson, Jackson, Purpose. Sadie Sink, John Proctor's Villain. Sarah Snook, The Picture of Dorian Gray.
Good.
Thoughts?
Snook.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's our biggest discovery of the season is that we've all been saying Sarah Snook's name wrong for years.
For years.
For like 10
That's
years.
my bad,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Not just us. I mean, the whole world.
The whole world has been. So immediate thoughts.
This is a tough one. There's just such a balance of like different people that I'd be like. I mean, there's some people that I'd be like.
I feel like the leading actress. There wasn't a ton eligible, but I definitely thought Mia Farrow. I would have personally swapped out Cindy Lemon for Job for Mia Farrow.
And once again,
but I think because Job didn't get any nominations.
Yeah,
I just
and
don't
once
think
again,
it
I'm gonna fight someone with my fists over that play. Sydney Lemon is so good in that play. I
She
want
is
to do all
great.
those monologues. Oh my god, I actually my blood is boiling, but it's okay because Laura Donnelly is also up there for me.
Laura
So
Donnelly's
like that's
great.
my vote. I haven't seen Dorian Gray yet. I'm sure it's amazing, but Laura Donnelly is so good.
Wonderful in
I
that.
bet.
Yeah, Sarah Snook.
But Laura Donnelly, I
And
love
you know
her.
what?
She
Hell
looks
yeah.
so great in
Yeah.
that coat.
I was surprised by the Harry Lennox.
That was
nomination.
the most
Yeah.
surprising.
I was
that-
I was
really,
also pleasantly
really
surprised by Louis McCartney.
I love that.
I thought he was a lock. So when they went to Henry Lennox, I was like, oh, we're not getting Louis.
No.
I was shocked, and then it was surprised we got
The
a six.
fact that man has to do that show
That's what I mean.
a
It's
weekend.
crazy.
5 times in a weekend.
I also think
insane.
and something worth noting, it's Mia Farrow's first Tony nomination ever, which I do think.
I just love her as a person, so I'm like, yeah, whatever.
That is very.
That,
That's
but
very.
I just think that's like a thing that like I think that is part because I famously got all 5 of those correct, and that was one of my
Wow.
reasons. Mostly because I thought Job was going to be forgotten, and I was like, Mia Farrow is like from The Roommate, she is like was the best part of the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, she has never had a Tony nomination before, which I think is crazy.
Yeah. Wait, can I see a snub? I'd probably be featured. It might be leading.
I don't know.
Molly Osborne from Othello.
Really?
I loved Molly Osborne. I spent a bunch of
just
money on my
threw
ticket. Give
herself
me a
back.
chance to just throw it in there.
This is not her fault. This is not her fault. The
The
fact
scenes with Denzel weren't.
that
right?
no. What's not her fault is that they made her use an American accent, and she could not keep the American accent. It screwed up
Especially in Shakespeare.
maybe every one of her lines. Like
Yeah.
I was like, why would you bring over? Like this is my big problem. Again, this is not her fault.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, you're casting. If you're gonna cast someone that no one has ever heard of,
Yeah.
why are you bringing over this girl from the UK and then not letting her use her natural
Because
accent?
that's what
Yeah.
Shakespeare should be done in my opinion.
because my biggest snub of my two right now, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Because you know what, one of my two big snubs, Kit Connor. Because I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yes,
Kit
yes,
Connor,
yes.
Kit Connor, the way that
He was wonderful.
20 years, this kid
That's part of that
is
show.
this kid
He's
is
so good.
20 years old, and he read Shakespeare like I've literally never heard like an adult grown man. Like the nuance in his Romeo was like unbelievable.
Romeo is harder than people think Romeo
And
is.
it was-
Yeah.
And he
and
did
just-
really
And he nailed the
well.
comedy. He
Yes.
nailed the drama.
And
he nailed
Ernest
the
Romeo
emotion.
is the best Romeo, and
Yes.
he was just
And,
so.
and you're
I
also
believe
like
him.
he was the first.
I
one-
think Jake Gyllenhaal is really good.
Hey,
too.
shut! I want everyone to know that Justin laughed at me for saying British people should be the people who do Shakespeare.
agree.
But
I
I really
actually
believe
don't
that
think
in the way
Americans can
that
do Shakespeare
Americans
anymore.
should do American drama. Like it's just where it came from, and like for some reason it just sounds better in that accent. I don't care. I don't care. Controversial
I've
opinion.
yet to see an American that can read Shakespeare as well as a British person.
Yes.
That's fair.
And I'm not saying we
I
shouldn't
really
do
think
Shakespeare.
Jake
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal. I just wanted a reason for why I spent all my money on my ticket.
It's the chess set.
I don't-
And the
I don't
fact
blame-
that you can talk to me about it before you spent $400 on your ticket seems like a you problem.
I just wanted to see it.
I get it.
So
I get
good.
it. No, it's not Molly's fault. I just am like,
Whatever.
I just don't understand the reasoning that they wouldn't just let her be British.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason. This takes place in an amorphous time at an amorphous place. They've said it nowhere.
Yeah. It could be anything.
Like it just anyway. But to me, I felt so bad because she was struggling so much with and I saw it recently. Yeah. So she was struggling so much with the accent, and I was like, just let her be British. I'm sure she would like to be British.
Were you surprised at all without the Jim Parsons nom? I know we talked about it a little bit.
I mean, look at who I was trying to pull up.
I earnestly thought we would see Jim Parsons on there over Henry Lennox. Honestly, over George Clooney.
Yeah. I had. I mean, here's the thing. All in all, it doesn't matter because Cole's winning it. But George, John, Lewis, Kit, and Cole.
I'm happy for that every day of the week.
And again, I think this is like a longer conversation that I've had with many people. But like, one of the big controversies of this year's Tony Awards is that there are 6 actors, and 5 actresses. Yeah. And I think the bigger question is, why are we still doing gendered categories? Yeah. Which is a longer conversation.
Well,
because
I was confused about. I was like, where is Cole going to be?
Well, and Cole got to
Cole chose.
This is the thing. So the way
ask them.
Right. And the thing is, as of now, every at least openly non-binary person who has been eligible has always chosen actor.
Interesting.
And that's because every single time, actor has been easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like. And not, again, this is no shade towards Cole. If I'm Cole, why would I not pick the category where I will 100% win versus the category where I'm going against Sarah Snook and Laura Donnelly? I'm like, no, I'm going to go into the other category.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the same thing that happened with Jay, with
there's one person who protested and didn't go for the
nomination.
Yes,
it was Angeliette.
Yeah, but like they were never nominated anyway. So it's like,
I love them.
No, I do. I love them. They're great. But like, they were never nominated.
Yeah, they were playing.
But Alec, the year that it was Alex Newell and Jay.
Oh yeah.
Jay Harrison Gee, who both won actor and both won because it was an easy category. And again, very deserved performances.
Yeah.
But like, if you're looking, there's a reason why they're looking at him going, I'm gonna do this one because I could win a Tony. Alex is like, oh, do I want to go into the acting category where I will win by a long shot, or do I want to lose to one of the actresses? Not because. Because the actresses had a better year.
That's the way the year went.
Yeah. And that's consistently how it's been.
I will say my worry about doing a non-gendered category is there's going to be a year where they just give the award to like 2 white guys.
Yeah. We say
and
that,
then I'll be like, stop it.
But I actually think we almost will see the opposite because I think the actresses are more beloved.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But like, I get what you're saying. You
know what I mean? Yeah.
It's a complicated thing that
it is super
I think
complicated.
They need to figure out, but they just have.
But
and I'm an idiot. I shouldn't.
I do think we all can agree that Cole is
without a doubt, complete lock. Yeah. I'm really glad like the category is how it is.
They're also just like, I love the history of performance that they have and the way that they have built their career. Like going back to their YouTube channel and watching all of the variety shows they do every year, and then the work they did with Z-Way and Search Party, and like all of their writing.
And this is not shade towards Cole at all. Cole also deeply wants it, and wants best play, and is also campaigning so hard. And again, this is not like
that's wonderful.
Right. And I love seeing people that just like want it and openly want it.
And Cole literally came back to
correct
the role.
to do.
Yeah, we saw it with the original cast because I was like they were about to leave, and I was like, I don't want to miss it. And now they're like fully back.
Yeah, and I also think the thing about Omeri is that I just think it can run forever and ever and ever and ever, and you can cast new every 4 weeks, just throw someone else in there. It is a 70-minute commitment. Titus is like, I'm here for 3 weeks. They're like, great, 3 weeks, bye. Someone else, 3 weeks,
like
bye.
Like all in.
And it's also the Lyceum, which is the worst theater in the whole world. So let Omeri take the worst theater in the whole world and run forever. It works so cute. It works so well there.
Yeah.
Like sorry, this is like I'm talking so much. I apologize.
No.
The other thing is I do think like I'm really happy with this category because I think it's like, I don't want to say like a rebuke, but like I think they've made very specific choices here to like pick theater people.
Yeah.
Because they could have, again, not shade towards, again, I said Kit's a thing, but like you could put a category where it's George Clooney, Denzel Washington, Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Downey Jr., and Kit Connor.
Yeah.
And it's all celebrities that will come, and you'll get 1 billion people. Not really. I don't think anyone really watched 1 billion people watch the Tonys for those 5. But like
those huge names.
But the fact that they were like, we would rather have a Harry Lennox, we'd rather have a Daniel Day Kim, who again is a TV person, but also is a theater person.
Is
right
in their heart.
A John Michael Hill. Like these are theater people. Lewis McCartney, stage debut, Lewis McCartney, only person they brought over from London.
So
like,
good.
I loved
so
him
good.
so much.
So
He was
young.
my favorite part of all
The
of
whole
Stranger
show.
Things.
The
He
whole
was
Me too. I mean,
so
again,
good.
and again, like there's a reason that he's the only person that they brought from the London cast.
Yeah.
Like they only brought Lewis, no one
Because
else.
he is the show.
He is the show,
He's
and-
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And then
Yeah.
my hot take is that I really want Laura Donnelly to win, and I don't know if she can.
Do you think it's going to Sarah Snook?
I think it's going to Sarah Snook.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
that sentiment.
That being so again, this is the same battle they saw in the Olivier's. Sarah Snook won there too. That being said,
Oh wait, so when
yeah,
This is part
when
two.
Hills
Part
was
two
in
battle.
West End. Whoa! I
Exactly
didn't realize
the
it was the same year. Oh my god, that's crazy.
I will say to me, the best moment again is the staircase scene, which did not happen
It's
in
here
London.
now.
Oh,
So
so,
I-
maybe it is like a deciding factor.
And I do think that changes things slightly. I also think that like Picture Dorian Gray was not as highly regarded here as it was in London.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
She has a chance. I really
She does.
believe
She does.
that.
I don't think it's that being said, it's 800 people from all around the country who are coming to Broadway can now see Picture Dorian Gray and have all probably watched Succession. So
Yeah, it's a little tougher.
It's a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
Obviously, then the other one I want to talk about is Sadie Sink, who
God, she's so good in that show.
again,
She's so
so
good.
glad that I think she is. I mean, I think she's probably from the five probably has the least chance, mostly because her role is the smallest. My biggest flaw with John Proctor is I almost wish they posted somewhere like, "Don't worry, Sadie Sink will be there," because both times I've seen it, like people for like 5 minutes are like looking through the playbill, being like, "Did I miss a slip? Did I miss a slip? Did I miss a slip?" And I'm like, "No, she's coming. Just stop. Watch the play.
Yeah.
Just watch."
The first,
90 minutes, relax.
Like, but they just because they're like they like can't like.
Well, wait. Liz made a really funny joke. We were at Stranger Things, and she was like, how many people do you think are here being like, when did Sadie Sink get on stage? Because they heard Sadie Sink's on
And
Broadway.
Sadie Sink is on Broadway for sure.
Sadie
Not
Sink is
only
on
that.
Broadway. Maya Hawke coming to off Broadway.
Yeah,
It is
Maya
a
Hawke's
Stranger
here.
Things
Oh my god, I
year,
cannot see
baby.
Finn Wolfhard in this
Yeah.
play.
Well,
Never
there is.
shows
It's
up.
funny because in Stranger Things, there's also like a character that comes in at the very, very end of the first act, and in London it was Patrick Vale, and so it was the same thing where I was in London. I was like, "Where's Patrick Vale? Where's Patrick Vale?" I was like, "Is he not in this? Is he not here today?"
Yeah.
And then they like at the very end he comes, he like takes off the thing, and I was like, "Oh, there's Patrick Vale."
Takes off his wig.
Right, and Patrick Vale, who was like, "I will never come back to America. I'm staying in London.
London
Yeah,
forever."
bye." And I was like, "But you could come back. I
We'd love to
miss
see
you."
understand.
Any other hot takes on leading performance for play?
And I'm glad Latanya got nominated. She's wonderful.
She was wonderful.
Yeah,
She's
ooh,
so
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Okay, leading performance for a musical.
Oh, brother.
Darren Criss, Maybe Happy Ending, Andrew Duran, Dead Outlaw, Tom Francis, Sunset Boulevard, Jonathan Groff, Just in Time, James Monroe, Idleheart, A Wonderful World, the Louis Armstrong musical, and Jeremy Jordan, Floyd Collins. Best performance by a leading actress in a musical, Megan Hilty, Death Becomes Her, Audra McDonald, Gypsy, Jasmine Amy Rogers, Boop the Musical, Nicole Scherzinger, Sunset Boulevard, and Jennifer Simard, Death Becomes Her.
Okay, I want to quickly, I don't know if we need to, but scene set the rules of the Tony Awards.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Because we have
Give us
just
the
seen
introduction,
6
I didn't know.
and
Okay.
5.
Yep, let's all
yeah.
learn.
We're going to talk about the shell in the room.
Yes,
Let's
so
go.
so I want to first okay.
in the room.
So the
Show
way
in the room.
the way that the Tony Awards work, if you have at least 5 people eligible in a category, you get 4 nominations. So in a 5-person category, 4 nominations. If you have 9 people eligible, you have 5 nominations. So those are the rules. The way that it works is there are 62 people roughly because that are Tony nominators. If you have a show in that season, you have to recuse yourself. So like Whitney White, Tony nominator,
Yeah.
not voting. Anyway, the way that it works is they all meet. They have a big discussion between Monday and Wednesday of after this week. They had a discussion.
Yeah.
Then they all secret ballot list their 1 through 5. Then they have tabulators who are whatever the weird.
Count them all up.
Yes, count them all up, but it's all secret, so they don't know.
Yeah.
And then they reveal them. Okay, the way that it works is you have 5, and so every category has 5. The only way you get a 6th is if the 5th spot ties. And you can tie it, you can have a maximum of 7 people. So if the 5th spot is double tied,
You can have 7
you can
noms.
have 7 noms. You cannot have more than 7 noms, so there's a whole bunch of...
So the leading actor for a musical, the reason there's 6 is because somebody tied with somebody.
Somebody
for
tied
the 5th
in
spot.
the 5th spot.
Yes.
Which is specific because like if you tie in the 1st spot, then they just
They
bump
just-
out the 5th
You
spot.
would bump out the 5th spot.
So they had, let's say, Darren, Tom, Jeremy, Jonathan Groff,
And then like Andrew and James both tied for 5th.
And then now they're
That's
both
why they were
6th.
allowed in there.
Right.
But like just because Helen J. Shen maybe got a lot of votes but didn't get to that 5th
Right.
spot, that's why there's not that 6th spot for
And it's unfortunate that leading actor in a musical and leading actor in a play
both
got 6,
Yes.
and both of the actress categories did not.
Yeah.
But and I hate having to defend the Tony Awards
yeah, but that is the rule.
Yes, but that is the rule.
It's a unfortunate look.
Right.
Because I don't think like the Tony Awards meant anything by it.
Correct.
To give that extra to like a man in
just
both those categories.
the rule.
Is how that wins. And it does suck because I think we can all agree one of the biggest snubs
Yes.
of the Tonys is Helen J. Shen.
100%. Without a
For
doubt.
Maybe Happy Ending.
Incredible.
They
in
are-
that show.
They are
Helen J. Shen is so good.
Yes.
Like truly brilliant. She's my favorite part of Maybe Happy Ending.
Yeah.
She like made the show for me. I was so disappointed to not see her on here.
Yeah, and it's a hard thing because I don't know who you replace. Like I don't
That's
think
what I'm
there's
saying.
great.
She's amazing. I'll talk so highly of her. I don't know if I could replace her with any of these 5. I
Because,
would love
like,
to add her
I
to
would
this
love to
group.
add-
I would love to add her. I'd love her to be in the 6th spot. I just am like I can't. Like it's why I'm like it's weird because I'm like obviously like I say snub, but I'm like
Yeah.
snub kind of implies that like someone else
Someone
got
else
in.
should get-
but
should
like
go.
how do you say like Megan Hilty, Audra, Jasmine, Nicole, or Jen don't deserve to be
My
there?
immediate thought is
Yeah.
like, oh, one of the Death Becomes Her people. But then I think back on seeing the show and I'm like, both of them were so
Right.
good.
And like Megan was the one who like looking at it. Megan did not get an Outer Critics. Megan did not get a Drama Desk. Like, and again, these are all other awards that don't really matter. But like, I just
They can
contextually, it's
infer a little bit,
interesting
yeah.
to look at.
It's like looking at the Golden Globes.
Correct. That's
or-
always
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really hard because
Yeah.
it's such a stacked year. It is such a big category. At the end of the day, I think most people are kind of seeing this as a 2-person race anyway.
Nicole and Audra.
And like ultimately, like, do I think it matters for Helen's career? No. Like,
No.
I think we will see Helen.
But I think it would have been nice.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
it
I
would
want it.
have.
I
Yeah.
wanted it badly. I had her on my list. I had her, and I did not have Megan on my list.
Similar to the Joy Wood situation.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, Joy Wood snubbed last year, found her way in this year.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not worried for
Oh,
Helen.
Helen will be there at
But
some
I
point,
am
absolutely.
very
Yeah.
deeply sad because that performance means a lot to me.
Yes.
Like they mean a lot to me as an actor. Like
And
I
also
wanted
just
them there.
as a person, they're
Amazing.
incredibly kind.
Yes.
and
Oh, they're one of the
incredibly
nicest people
wonderful.
ever.
Right.
And it's the thing of meeting someone being like, oh, I want the best for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to be happy.
Yeah.
I want you
It's
to
a
get
special
everything
kind
you
of
want.
human
being. Yeah, of
Yes,
course.
very much so.
Yeah.
I will say one of my personal snubs that I'm most sad about is John Gallagher Jr.
Yes.
for Best Leading Actor in a Musical. I just loved him so
Sing
much
it.
in that.
Ooh.
I thought I thought he was wonderful.
I mean, I
Love
Yeah.
man.
I have said this. I've been in love with John Gallagher Jr. since I was 16 years old.
Yep.
Saw him in Spring Awakening, changed my life. I've
Yeah.
love this man. But I also don't think there's space for him. Like
No, yeah.
I think I would say every single person will tell you the biggest surprise of this entire Tony Awards is James Arnold
Oh,
Iglehart.
yeah.
But I also think that like again like not that like politically he is beloved.
Oh,
He is
yeah.
so
He is
incredibly
so
kind.
kind.
and this is
Yeah.
his show.
And this
he
is
like,
his,
Yeah.
he co-directed it.
Yeah.
It was his baby.
yeah.
Like
so it makes
sure.
sense.
it totally makes sense. I still think everyone is like, what?
It's
also
a
because
nod to all the work he put
sixth
in.
person who everyone thought was going to be there was not John. It was David.
Yeah.
And David Hyde Pierce not being there, I think people were
yeah.
very
Yeah.
surprised.
yeah.
And I do think part of the problem with Pirates is, I mean, to quote Liz from earlier, like comedies are just not respected in
As
theater.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's also an argument to be made that like almost Nicholas Barash is the lead of Pirates versus
Yeah.
David
Yeah, that's
and
hard.
It's also
Ramin.
so
For me.
Oh no, right, and I just think
Yeah.
it's a complex like thing, and the reason I think David's name was like so pushed is because it's David Hyde Pierce, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
also an beloved industry person.
He was so funny. in
That being
show.
said,
He was
I'm
sad.
so glad that he's not there and that Andrew and Tom
I
are.
am so happy Andrew Durand is in this.
Yeah.
He is so good in Dead Outlaw.
He stands still
stands
for
still
an
for an
hour.
hour. And if he spoke at any point in that, I watched an interview. He waits until people walk past him to blink. He knows when every single
Oh,
set
I saw that
changes.
interview too.
He
Yeah,
knows
when someone
every
walks past
single-
him, he's like, I know this ensemble member, or I know this
Yes.
person is going to walk by me for a second, and I can do a quick.
Well, and it's so important because the only way the show works thematically is if he does not move and you believe he is a body.
Yeah.
Because it is about the commodification of the body in a
Don't they
capitalistic
use lights and
world.
makeup too to like really like make?
Yeah.
He
him-
did look like a
He looks like a
for
dead
sure.
body.
And I'm like, the show does not work if he is not capable of doing that. And the show also does not work if he is not capable of having the most pathetic man energy for a
Most
good hour in the
pathetic.
beginning.
Yeah.
And also, the song I Killed a Man in Maine
That is great.
is
That
one of the
performance is
best
great.
on-stage performances I have seen this season.
I also want to talk about just like Andrew as a actor because this is a man who did Head Over Heels where he's playing a completely different character. He did Shucked where he's playing the dumbest man alive.
Dumbest man
And
alive.
then like just the range of like what he can do is
and
unbelievable.
also the number of people in the past day that have posted about how wonderful
Oh,
he is.
everyone I know.
I'm like, everyone's just like, hey, he's the kindest human being. He will do anything for theater because he loves it so much. This is his heart. This is his world.
And
I'm
where's
so
he-
glad
where's he
he's
from?
nominated. And he's from Georgia, everybody. He's actually from Marietta,
Alright,
Georgia.
okay. Shout out to Georgia.
No, that's
I will
true.
say with the leading actors kind of being a two-run race here.
Yeah.
Do you? I look at leading actor and I
It is
see
a,
it being
and I
a lot more
it's
open.
a 5-person
it's
race.
yeah.
I was
No
gonna say,
offense
like,
to,
I
to
don't-
James.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like truly like everybody. I mean,
Oh,
Jonathan
yeah.
Groff he's been getting so much love about Justin
Yes.
Time.
I mean,
Jeremy Jordan's been getting so much love.
I mean, the only Darren Criss may be happy ending. This is a show that almost did not even open. This is a show that the day they were moving in, they
Yes.
had to stop and leave because they ran out of money.
Yeah.
Like this is a show that we came 1 second away from it not even coming to Broadway and has completely been championed by Darren Criss. Like, and I will say, like, I was Maybe Happy Ending hired at the beginning of its run 3 influencers where we came to. I went to first day of tech. I got to go to multiple rehearsals. I got to go to opening night. And it was all Darren, just like championing, having people in the room, having people talking about the show, like. And because
Also, shout out to him for once again being super intentional about autistic performances. Got to chat with him after the show. He is one of the most neurotypical people I have ever met in my life. He looked at me and he was like, I'm so glad you saw that because I really wanted it to be there.
That's awesome.
And I thought that was really lovely.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Again, this is his baby that he cares deeply. I mean, they basically brought back Elsie Fest so he could have a platform to promote maybe Happy Ending. He deeply cares about theater, but also this show. And so I think that is and also his first ever Tony nomination, which is
really
crazy because he's only ever done. He's only ever come in. He's never originated a role.
Oh yeah,
Which is wild to think about because of so we're also talking Darren's first time, Andrew's first time, Tom's first time. It's crazy.
And Tom Francis is so
I was gonna say,
good.
even with he has nominations. I don't think he has a Tony
I don't
Award.
think he has one.
He definitely has nominations.
Yeah, no,
to be
yeah,
honest, that's my pull for best leading actor.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just fresh in my mind, Floyd Collins is, but the pain that I saw that man go through, the vocal qualities, truly, I've never seen someone sing like that before, and it was truly magical.
And then also speaking through with our friend after the show, going through the music, he was leading us through all of the things that feel improvisational but are directly related to the score.
Yeah.
And they felt so raw and in the moment and fully just a part of his emotional performance.
It was truly a once in
that
a
were
lifetime
just-
performance.
it
I
was
think.
wonderful.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
totally.
This is the list of first-time nominees. This is a very long list, and it's
60 something, right?
this is the
that's so
actors
cool.
one, but it's a lot of big names that you wouldn't expect. But no, Jeremy Durant's not on here, so he doesn't.
Yeah,
win.
so
I'm
he
nominated.
definitely
He's
has
been
a nomination.
nominated,
but I
I
don't
Oh
think
yeah,
he
he
has
got
a
nominated for
Tony.
Newsies for sure, didn't he?
Oh, I don't know.
I think he got
I'm
nominated
literally
for
looking at this right
Newsies.
now because I'm
No,
gonna
no, no.
go crazy.
And then
yeah.
my controversial pick for leading actress, and once again,
Yeah,
it's
so he
just,
was nominated for Jack Kelly and then nominated for Floyd Collins, but it's only second, which is also
right.
crazy.
Yeah,
because
and he didn't win for Jack Kelly, did he?
No, I don't think so.
My controversial pick, I just I know that there's so many huge stars in the leading actress, and I know everybody says it's Nicole or Audra, but I just love Megan Hilty. I really, truly
I love
think
Jennifer
that was.
Simard.
I love Jennifer
I think
Simard,
that was
which
Megan
is-
Hilty's show. I don't know. I
I would love
can't
to see if
explain
Beth
why.
Becomes Her win.
What if they
by
split?
either
What
of
if they
them.
split it? What if they
Would
both
they cut the
got
Tony
it?
in half?
Where
They
they
do.
break the
Were
crown.
they mean
in
girls?
The crown.
I want to bring back the Matilda of it all, where you can just share a tone, instead of
Yes. Oh my gosh. Wait, were
We
all
really
those little
are
girls
bringing back
nominated?
the Matilda
what
of
the
it
Tilda
all.
girls. They all were nominated as a group. It was because Billy Elliot
Yeah.
won. The three boys won together.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
How
Which I-
many-
I watched that Tony
Is it
performance so many
3
times.
nominees for performances this season that were in Matilda?
Yeah.
Gabriel
Oh,
Finna.
And
Tina.
Taylor.
and Taylor, yeah. That's crazy.
That's
Anybody-
fascinating.
Matilda's back. Well, hey.
Matilda's back.
Matilda's back, guys.
And that's everything to me.
Well, hey, we're coming to the end here with our 4 biggest, and we're going to start it off with Best Revival of a Play. Our nominees are Eureka Day, Romeo and Juliet, Our Town and Yellowface.
This made me so happy.
Yeah.
Deeply happy.
I know it does.
Because that means, there are only 7 eligible best revivals of a play. These 4, all shows that are from the fall, all shows closed.
Yeah.
Are 2 shows that are still open.
Yeah.
Othello and Glengarry Glen Ross. And then we get Home.
Yeah.
But I also people Home this season, who knew?
Yeah, it was one of those ones that was kind of like Job.
Yeah. Came in, came
unfortunately,
out.
Came out.
The fact that they went with 4 closed plays and not the biggest, most money-making.
I'm gonna say the 2 most expensive tickets on Broadway right now are Glengarry and Othello.
And Good Night and Good Luck is the third one, but which also
didn't get enough.
It was like spoiler alert.
Got way
ton
more
of
nominations,
technical awards.
Yeah,
and way more love
George
than
Clooney and stuff. But I was so surprised that Othello and Glengarry didn't.
I know. I did not have Othello, and I did have Glengarry and over Our Town.
Maybe. Yeah.
But
I didn't have Romeo and Juliet on mine.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, I'm proud of them for that. Like, I feel like it
And that's
was
awesome.
a young,
Yeah.
scrappy group that, like, I'm kind of like, damn, hell yeah.
And I also want to be rewarded just for like the number of people that got to come to the theater who are not like traditional
and people
theater.
that have continued to see plays
Because
since
of
watching
that,
Romeo and Juliet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Really cool.
But
I will say personally, and I'm incredibly biased because he's on this season, and you guys will, the listeners, you'll hear him soon. But Jonathan Spector is a friend, and he's on this season of the podcast.
That's
and
the one I want to win.
Eureka Day is one of my it was
I
my
love
favorite play I've seen in a while. I loved it just so much.
and I wanted special shout out to Eureka Day is because Eureka Day was a pandemic play that started on Zoom, which I think is
That's so fun.
could not be a more perfect Zoom play in the world.
Well, he wrote it in 2016. So he wrote the play before the pandemic even existed. And it had like a little tiny regional run in California, and then it had a short off-Broadway run. Then it ended, and then it was like one of those plays that like he talked about in the episode. I don't want to like spoil it all, but he like talks about like how it was like optioned and people were really like wanting to do something with it, but I didn't know what to do. And then COVID hit, and then they were like, let's do a Zoom reading.
Yeah.
And then people were like, oh my God, this is like it's like when The Simpsons predicted Donald Trump to be president or something like that. Like something weirdly insane. People were like looking at Jonathan Spector as like, are you a creature? Are you a witch? What's going on here?
Did it change the text or did it?
I mean,
I'm assuming the end line was
a good amount of. I think like he's like it's kept pretty close to like what it was before, but a lot like I mean like the whole Zoom scene I think was added because that was something that wasn't as like big and Zoom wasn't really.
We were all Skyping at the time.
Yeah, exactly. So like a lot of things, a lot of the play itself isn't about COVID, but there's so much like resemblance there. I think like
was famously it takes place in 2019, so it takes place
it
right
takes
before COVID, which is famous because the spoiler alert, the like final beat is very funny.
Yeah, but yeah, it's very very. I think it was one of my favorite plays this year.
It was amazing.
So I'm personally pulling for Eureka Day.
That's what I would like to win as well.
And I'm so glad Jessica had Jessica
got the nomination.
She's so
She was so
and
good.
she plays the anti-vaxxer of the group, and that's what makes it.
She's amazing.
She's amazing.
I do think like I don't know if Our Town is as I think Our Town has like the star power, but I don't know if it. I think for me it's between Eureka Day and Yellowface.
I think so too.
I think
so. Okay.
I'd also love to see.
And again,
win.
the Yellowface, like the thing that's really I think good for Yellowface is we've said this before, but like they have this Great Performances Pro Shot that is coming out this month.
Yeah.
They're sending it to every nominator, every voter. Like, I've not obviously seen the Pro Shot yet, but I'm assuming it is probably excellent because the Great Performance Pro Shots are excellent.
Yeah, awesome.
So having the ability to
that
watch that
super
show,
nice.
Super cool.
So that I'm sure like
it's
people
almost
like Eureka Day and Romeo and Juliet kind of wish they were able to have
because
it.
It's almost like accessibility in theater is good for everyone.
Sing
That's
it.
That's absolutely wild and crazy. Okay, sweet. It's simple. These ones might go a little bit quicker because I feel like we have them. This next one, best revival of a musical.
There are 2 in this, and the one that I want to win is not going to win, but that's okay.
We have Floyd Collins,
Never
Gypsy,
say
Pirates,
The Penzance musical, and Sunset Boulevard.
this to me felt like the easiest category to predict. Like there was no other way it was going.
I will say that I saw a couple where they put Elf in, and I was like a little thrown off, but also like I've heard Great Henson was amazing.
Here's the thing. I was an Elf defender. Like I went into Elf with my expectations on the ground. I don't care about them. Like I like the movie. I'm not like I'm a Jew. I'm like whatever.
Yeah.
Gray, amazing. Ashley Brown, unbelievable performance. Former Mary Poppins. She plays the stepmom and so good. So good.
Yeah.
Like there's one of my favorite ones this season is her and the kid in the show have this number, like a standing ovation, like incredible.
Wow.
The flying sleigh was better than in the moment of the car in like the flying sleigh in Elf with the snow. The entire audience, it's snowing. There's a sleigh flying over your head. It is cooler than the Back to the Future car. Like I was weeping.
Wow,
like
that's
it
a
is
big statement.
Great choreography. Like was very fun. It is a play that ran. I posted about it, and like Greg sent me a very nice message. It was like, thank you for like saying that you liked it and on it. I was like, Greg, you're amazing. Like very kind human. Like anyway, like I didn't think it was a play that ran for 4 weeks in December. Like
it was very much like it would be like if did those Christmas Carol whenever they brought Christmas Carol the guy from
Jefferson
Tonys,
Mays
for sure.
Jefferson Mays. Did they get a nomination?
Yeah, they did.
I don't think
there was some kind. Either it was like a special award or something
like that. I remember
Michael Arden's best work.
Yeah, so good. Truly so good.
I need to watch it then.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Jefferson Mays plays every single role.
Shout out to the Performing Arts Library.
Yeah.
I go to watch random.
The Jefferson Mays one is a pro shot.
They have a pro shot.
Because the first time I watched it was during COVID. Because they did a stream of it. And
did Jefferson Mays also play every character in Gentleman's Guide to Love?
Yeah. That was his like.
Oh, that's the guy. Oh, I'll watch that.
I also will say
he's one who does for the Tonys when he's like announcing Gentleman's Guide performance.
The change, I
also will say like
of all time.
A lot of people that don't like Dorian Gray, it's because if you've watched that, either seen that production or seen a pro shot production, Jefferson Mays does everything that Sarah Snook does, but like without any artifice. Not that.
It's not a her.
It's not a Sarah Snook. It's that like Sarah Snook is doing scenes with pre-recorded versions of herself. Like Jefferson Mays is doing it all live, all by himself, with
it's
no
so good.
like. It's
I love
crazy to watch.
It's so good.
So anyway,
Any thoughts on Revival? I know
I want Floyd Collins to win more than anything in the world, and I know it's probably not going to. But that's my heart and my joy.
It's like I would be fine if Floyd Collins won and then Sunset won for direction, because I don't love Sunset as a musical, but that production was absolutely
like not the musical. You loved what you saw on Broadway.
I love what I saw on Broadway.
Of, like, the original.
I don't care about it.
It's not like your favorite. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't love Andrew Lloyd Webber.
No, that's a fair take.
That's super fair take.
Yeah,
I will say I think Jamie broke my brain because I saw Sunset in
amazing.
DC. And I didn't like it, and then now I'm obsessed.
Because that is some of the cool. Like I love this new thing we're doing with like completely reimagining things. I think that's what a revival should be. Yeah. You know,
it's also that movie is such a good movie, and the relationship between this version of Sunset Boulevard and the movie Sunset Boulevard is incredible.
I also will not be surprised if there's a split in many ways. I think it's gonna. I don't think Floyd Collins is going to win. I could see a world in which Audra wins and Sunset wins. I could see a world in which Nicole wins
and Gypsy wins.
Like I think
that makes sense.
I think that is more likely. I mean, and I will say I think looking at the nominations, Sunset is set up more in terms of like they got the director nom, they got the scenic nom. Gypsy did get the choreography nom, but like and they got Audra and Joy, but like then they also got Tom and Nicole. And ultimately like this is a hot-ish take. Gypsy is one of my favorite musicals of all time, and I don't love this revival. I think because it is a super just
departure.
No. This Gypsy is classic. It is could not be more.
Oh, I've heard. I don't know.
Oh, I could not. I think this production of Gypsy is like every regional production of Gypsy you have ever seen. Like it is straight up Gypsy.
One is a very hot new take on the show, and one is an incredibly...
One is what I want from a revival, which is like we are taking this show and we are doing something different and
the Romeo and Juliet of it all.
The Romeo and Juliet of it all. And again,
absolutely.
But like that being said, people I think love Gypsy, and when they want to see Gypsy, they want to see
Gypsy.
They want to see Gypsy.
This Sunset is just so smart.
It's so smart.
It's so smart.
Yeah.
I saw it. I fell in love with it. I saw it in London. I've seen it 4 times here. I've seen it with 3 different Normas. I just love this production.
But I do think Floyd Collins is the best show. It's the best.
So good.
Like just show.
Just
like
from
the
video,
writing, the
I haven't
music,
been able to
everything
see Floyd
is the
Collins
best.
yet. Just from the videos I've seen, I'm like so excited.
It's so good.
I do want to shout out before we move off from this, the other two, the Once Upon a Mattress and Last 5 Years, which were the other two other than Elf that got.
Guys,
that
fun fact
weren't
about the
in
last 5 years that really endeared me to it, specifically this version, is when I walked by Nick Jonas the other day, and he was very adamantly rehearsing his lines as he walked. He was just like really quietly to himself, just being.
No, he was. Wait, really?
An alarm start. And I was like, That's so endearing.
That's so nice. Good for Nick.
Okay,
And
well,
I was like, I like this show
well,
better than I did.
Kind of sweet. I would say that's kind of a sweet thing to see. A celebrity like going over their line.
That poor man.
I think that's a nice
That poor
thing.
man.
All right. Okay. We're
I
going to best play. Wait, another thought on Revival?
Oh, one thing about I think is fun with Adam Gettle is that he's up. I mean, he got the nomination and his mother did not, because Adam Gettle is the Nepo Baby of Nepo Babies because his mother is Mary Rogers and his grandfather is Richard Rogers. So he is
Oh
a
my
third
God.
generation Broadway
That's
baby.
why his stuff is so small but still gets produced.
Yes, because
Whoa!
yeah,
That's
because he
insane.
is.
When he was in college, he would just self-produce because he had the money for it.
I'm learning so much.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
And I'm going down this weekend to Atlanta to see his new musical.
Oh, the new
Millions.
one. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Are you ready for best play? Best play. The nominations are English, Hills of California, John Proctor's The Villain, Oh Mary, and Purpose.
The best category of all
It's so
categories.
Oh, 100%.
There's no other way. The only other thing that could have happened is if they added a sixth spot and threw in Stranger Things. But
Yeah.
honestly, this was
Stranger Things.
That would have been the sixth spot.
Once
But
again, I am the biggest fan of Job
Hey guys,
ever.
throw in Job.
I don't think
Jack
I don't
was
think
never
John would've
like,
gotten it.
please
I think
call
Cult
me.
of Love would have got a nomination over that. I don't think Cult of Love was getting it down.
six.
I love Job, please.
I love that you love Job.
I think if we're all being honest.
We're looking at this politically from.
Well, I was gonna say I think we're all being honest. The sixth slot would have gone the Picture. Like,
no,
you don't think it would have gone to Picture?
I think it would have gone. No, I think it would have gone to Stranger. Hey, because
hate
Stranger
everything.
Things is a $1 billion play produced
Yeah.
by Netflix.
I know. I have to
The
keep
fact
remembering
that
that
they
Harry
didn't-
Potter won in 2018.
Correct.
I keep
The fact that
forgetting.
Stranger Things isn't here is a miracle.
It's crazy.
And that
Yeah.
thing that I will defend Stranger Things. Like
I thought it was great.
in the way that I saw Stranger Things in London, I hated it in London. Hated it in London. I think what they've done is made this. I think you're both wrong.
You're both wrong.
Stranger Things is
I'm
one.
not saying anything.
Yeah. Like I really think it is. I think it is a really special show. I think it is visually stunning.
It was gorgeous.
Like
it was. I thought it was so fun to
Okay,
watch.
guys, listen. I started having an autistic meltdown 30 minutes into that show, and I missed the
really
rest of it.
intense.
no, it's really
Okay.
intense.
It's
And
super
I
intense.
thought it was beautifully done. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
I did feel like I was watching Stranger Things on stage. I just wish they gave me a content warning, y'all.
It was
Yeah.
fun.
That was it.
Yeah,
for sure.
But like again, what it is a
Very
right,
fair.
mul-
Incredibly fair take.
the fact that they did not put the one of the most like produced. Again, this is a Netflix play. Like this is a massive amount of money
Yeah.
they have put into making this show, and it is a miracle that it is not here.
It is crazy.
That they have little baby English, little baby Purpose.
I'm so
bad.
happy
I don't think
English
it-
is
I
up
just
there.
love that
I'm so happy John
show.
Proctor is
Yeah.
up there.
I mean, it is.
Mary.
I think at this. I mean, I love this category. I would pick a different show, not because of the. Oh, Mary is winning. I don't think there's
Yeah.
a world
Oh,
in which
yeah, I
Mary
don't
is
think
not
there's a world-
winning.
I know,
Yeah.
but I love
I-
Purpose and Hills.
And I love
Purpose.
John Proctor and I love English. Like there's like this is the category that I
great
looked at and I was
category.
like, I'm so happy.
tough.
I don't have to be a Tony voter
Yeah.
Yeah.
because this
real.
would suck.
This is a really hard category.
It's a
That's
perfect
tough.
category. These are 5 like legitimately perfect pieces of theater.
Yeah.
I love all of them deeply. I'm so happy they are here.
Yeah.
Again, I think it is Oh Mary's by a long
yeah.
shot.
Really?
I just think Oh Mary has the momentum. It has,
Yeah.
and
It
again,
is still like one of the. I mean, it broke
it's a
awards
miracle.
for
It
the-
is a miracle
Yeah,
that it exists.
it's like a crazy show.
Like it has changed the game in a lot of ways. This is the show that started off at the worst theater in the whole world.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
hotel downtown, the
Yeah.
shittiest theater with the worst sightlines and the worst seats that currently is charging $400 to go see Vanya.
Great show.
And
Great
I'd
show.
pay it.
Hey, and you know what? Great show.
And hey, I
They
pay.
keep on getting. I'm so surprised every time the Lord tells like, we're doing this with the most famous person on the goddamn planet.
Adam Driver.
It doesn't
I
make
hardly
any
know
sense.
her.
And then you go and it's like the
The
that was
worst
such a bad
experience.
joke.
Right, but like, and also just like, again, when I say the worst theater, like, folks at home, if you haven't sat in the Lortel, if you don't want to be miserably uncomfortable in tiny seats in a horrible
Well, they
theater,
have the most amazing shows, so you
Right,
like
no, I'm
you
saying-
force
Say,
yourself
though,
through the torture.
When I went to go see Vanya, I was in the very back row and like very chillin'. There was a balcony there. I was engaged the entire time.
That's
so
where I
that's
was- yeah.
the right there is my.
But like when
Good.
the first time
It
I
was
saw
great.
Oh Mary, so they don't do it. They are not doing it for Vanya. They do it for some of the shows. The Lortel does do a thing where you can usher for free tickets. So you can volunteer usher. You go in, you hand out. That's what I did for Oh Mary. But for Oh Mary, because it was so packed, they put us in the back row of the mezzanine, and I could see maybe 20% of the
Oh,
stage.
that sucks.
That being said, it was free, so I can't complain.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that Oh Mary is here, I think it should. And
Win
again,
everything.
It should win. I mean, and it's not even it is not my show. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not my favorite show. It is not I've seen it 3 times. I've kind of feel like and Titus was amazing.
Yeah.
For me, a lot of the jokes, I'm kind of like, okay, now I know the jokes, but like.
Because you've seen it so many times,
Right.
that now you're like catching
and like
on,
watching the audience to me was like the best part because like watching them, like with the reveal of Booth is like so funny.
Can I say that I know nothing about it?
Whoa, wait, you haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it. I don't know a single
dude.
joke. I don't know anything.
See, like,
And the first time you go and see
You're
it,
gonna think it's the best play of all time.
you're gonna think it's amazing.
I
Because
love
it is
Cole's
amazing.
humor.
Because it is amazing.
No,
I'm
it's
such
an
a big-
amazing. It's an
I'm
amazing.
such a big
Don't read
Cole
it.
fan. I'm not going to until I see
Yeah,
it.
go
Like-
see it with.
No, yeah,
it's,
don't
it's
say that.
you know what? Oh, I didn't know that. You are so lucky that Cole is back.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so
everyone's gonna be
excited.
amazing, but it's gonna be so sick that you're gonna.
I'm just
see
such
what
a
You should
big fan of their
if you have a chance now, or if you like, if I were you, I would buy ticket. They have a Monday day after Tony performance, and I would say if you're gonna spend the money, the Monday the day after the Tonys is like
Gonna be special.
It's gonna be really,
crazy.
really special.
Oh.
Okay.
Because like that's gonna be because my favorite show of the whole year is the Tuesday after the Tony performance, depending on what show you're at, and getting to go to the O'Mary the Monday after the Tony Awards,
It's gonna be wild.
it's gonna be
sick.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, don't spoil anything.
Oh
don't
yeah,
know a
I
single
didn't
joke.
realize you
Yeah,
hadn't seen
I
either.
apologize.
If it was up to me, I would
It's so
I would
good.
probably pick Hills of California just because that show
Me
is
as
like
well.
so special, and I also love John
If
Proctor.
I
but
was the singular Tony voter,
If I was the
it was
singular
me,
Tony voter,
it would be English.
yeah, and English is amazing.
I'm gonna go
personally.
with
No, you go.
after
No,
you.
no, no, you
No,
go. I'll
ladies
go last.
first.
No, you go.
Okay, I'm gonna pick just because I think it's my favorite thing I've seen. Like, not even my favorite, but it's like the objectively best play is Purpose. I just thought that was.
I think Purpose
I
is a
love
brilliant
Brandon
play.
Jacob
Brandon
Jenkins.
Jenkins.
I think he's a perfect playwright.
a
Like,
different level
truly.
writer. If it was up to me, if I was a single voter, it would be really hard between John Proctor and O'Mary. I think I would lean John Proctor just because I loved it.
Do
I
we
loved
all
every
take
second of
different
it.
ones?
Yeah.
But I think it's a great. We can all want whatever we want. I think it is O'Mary's award.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it,
yes.
It feels similar to Cola Scola. Like
It
I think
feels
they've really
inevitable.
pushed
And
for
they're
it.
also inseparable.
Right,
Yeah,
and
they
again,
are.
and this is a world in which Cole is really doing the work to
Yeah.
like to navigate the politics of the Tony
Yeah.
Awards.
Oh yeah, Nicole could win, and then I could still see Gypsy like winning that. Audra could win. I could see Sunset coming in. Cole wins. It's like the.
How do you not?
Yeah, they go
Yeah.
together.
It's
it
felt-
just doesn't
it's
not
felt
work
like
that. And it's gonna
We've
happen.
been watching this trajectory of O'Mary winning the Tony for like the whole season. Like it
Yeah.
just felt like its year and its season
Yeah.
and its story and like
Yeah,
I'm not mad about it.
yeah. All right, final award, best musical.
Oh boy.
Buena Vista Social Club, Dead Outlaw, Death Becomes Her, Maybe Happy Ending, and Operation Mincemeat, a new musical.
I want to start by just saying that, and this has not happened to me ever. I don't care who wins. Like I really am so happy with all 5 of these.
Yeah.
Like I have choice. I guess I have slight preferences, but ultimately, like last year there were shows that I really liked and shows that I really did not like that were in this category. 2 years ago there were shows that I really liked and shows that I really did not like in this category.
Yeah.
This year I've liked
They're
all
all
5.
great.
I like all 5 of
They
these
are
shows.
all great.
Like do I again? Like I guess like not don't care is the wrong word, but like I would not be mad. Like
Yeah.
I know you love Death Becomes Her. Death Becomes Her is not my favorite musical of this
That's so
year,
fair.
but like if it won,
liked
I'm
it
not
so much,
mad.
yeah.
Like I'm not right. It's not like
It still is you're going to bed happy
Right.
the night after the Tony.
Correct.
Like you feel good
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
And again, I think a lot of people are seeing this as a 2-show race between Maybe Happy Ending and Dead Outlaw. I don't think it is.
No, I think
I
it's
don't think
really
so either.
open.
I think it's
No.
really. I mean, like my choice would be Death Becomes Her because you know how much I love. But I think honestly, maybe Happy Ending or Buena Vista Social Club feels like musicals that
Could totally
are
grab the win.
usually
Should
voted
we
for.
do our single Tony voter?
Yeah, yeah,
Are we
yeah.
all
Well,
doing
and
single
I
Tony
just-
voter?
quick. Is
Yes,
that-
absolutely.
the thing that people also need to know about Buena Vista Social Club is that it has every major Broadway producer involved in it.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
it is the political baby darling that I think people just are
But
not.
it's great.
Oh,
Like
no,
I
yeah.
totally.
I
also
love
brilliant.
Oh, I love Buena Vista Social Club, but it has that like that
The political has
politics.
so
right,
much
and
behind
I always
it.
want to mention because I feel like we're like
No,
we
it's
get
smart, yeah.
we get lost in the artistry of it all, but there's
Yeah.
a lot of things
Yeah.
that factor into the Tony
1,000%.
Awards.
I'm sorry, this is a business?
Surprise! Capitalism ruins everything.
Here, I'll start as my single
Yes.
Turner voting. To be honest, I do think there is a snub for me. I don't know what, but that's the issue. Is that it's like the Helen J. Shen of it all. Like I don't know who I'd replace. I do wish Just in Time was on the list. I think like it's done really cool stuff. It's an incredibly impressive show with an incredibly impressive creative team. But personally, I know that I don't know what's gonna. I loved Operation Mincemeat so much.
Yeah.
I had so much fun. I thought it was so funny. I think that whole group is so great. And also like, as like a writer performer who loves to like, I'd never perform my own stuff, but like watching a crew of 4 best friends write a musical and then like do a show together is so fun. That's what they wrote a show that was like, they were like, we wrote it so like one day it could be big, but we wrote it for like the little black boxes that would have us in London, like that kind of thing. So I love Operation Mincemeat, but I also kind of think it's between, I personally think it's between Buena Vista and maybe Happy Ending.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's just like from things that I've heard and from like the vibe that I'm getting. But I don't know. Do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next.
Yeah, go next.
Look, I just think Death Becomes Her has everything. It has the choreography. It has the Broadway feel. It has amazing, spectacular performances. Incredible. The writing is so funny. Like, the music is catchy. I told Maggie this last night. Like, there are very few musicals that I'm like, yeah, I really want to listen to that 24/7. And this was one of those. Flickons was also the other one of those. But, like, I just think it's so good. And I don't think people are taking it as seriously as they should be.
I want to say my parents are not like theater people. They like are theater people to the sense where like I'm a writer, so they have to like come and see my stuff sometimes. I brought my parents to Death Becomes Her, and the next day, my whole family's an Ohio State family. We love watching football. The next day was Saturday. We were supposed to go to an Ohio State bar and watch a football game, and my dad and mom woke up and texted me and Liz and was like, what's that thing where you go to a theater early and get tickets? And we were like, oh, like Rush? And they were like, yeah, let's all rush some shows. And I was like, why? And they're like, we had so much fun at Death Becomes Her. We want to see more theater.
Yeah.
That's how much fun my parents had at Death Becomes Her.
We did a 2-show day.
We did it. We saw Harry Potter and Water for Elephants the next day.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because they were just so excited after Death
Your
Becomes
boy
Her.
Wade.
My boy
So, yeah.
Wade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so excited. Okay, who wants to go next?
Can I say mine real fast?
Go.
Despite the fact I'm wearing a Dead Outlaw hat right now, my pick is actually maybe Happy Ending.
Whoa!
Yeah.
I thought the hat said it all.
The hat does not say it all. The hat says, I really liked this hat.
Here's the thing. Killer
It's a
hat.
cool hat.
Thank you so much.
Really good hat.
I think maybe Happy Ending is very close to being a perfect show.
Yeah.
And I love it a lot. And I want to see it win everything in the world. Thank you so much.
Boom.
This
Ashley, close us out.
this is I'm agreeing with Maggie here. But the way here's what if I get my dream scenario: Dead Outlaw score, Mincemeat book, maybe Happy Ending musical.
Oh, that is
I
me,
agree
that is
with
like-
that. I
yeah.
would take that in a
That's my
heartbeat.
perfect dream scenario.
That is a great
Yeah.
And then
lineup.
Death Becomes Her costumes and
Choreography.
choreography.
Fine without it.
They don't need it. They're having a
need
blast.
it, but I
over
want
there.
them
But
to
yeah,
win.
no, because I mean, I think not to be again. I feel like I've become the capitalist expert of the Tony Awards, but like, Death Becomes Her is objectively the one that's going to tour the best of these 5.
Yeah.
and so
And
like
run the longest.
run the longest. Like it is the like. Every season I have like, what is my show that when people who are not theater people come to New York and they're like, what should I see? And now I'm like, go see Death Becomes Her.
Oh,
Go see
yeah.
Death Becomes Her.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I think maybe Happy Ending is a perfect musical. I think it is extremely sweet. This is a conversation that I've had a lot, which is like, how does maybe Happy Ending tour? And I'm like, obviously the screens and the tech are like super cool. I don't think it really needs any of it. Like I think you could see maybe Happy Ending in a black box and be just as moved as if you see it with all the screens and tech. I think there's a way for them to downsize it. And again, if they downsize the tech, it is a show of 4 people. That is so cheap.
Yeah.
Could run everywhere. It'd be so sweet.
Oh my gosh, when only 4 people walked out at the end of that show for the bows,
Right?
I was like, whoa.
What do you mean?
Yeah, because people don't realize Marcus is one person.
Which is very funny to me because that means he's walking into a video screen of his own face,
Yes.
pretending to be his dad,
Yeah.
which is really funny to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I just love the show, and I think it is. And I also like I feel we've kind of been in this way of like we've been alternating. So we had like the big touring musical of Outsiders last year, and then the year before we got like Sweet Little Kimberly Akimbo. So I'm like, which again is touring, but like in terms of like.
Give my little robot musical a shot,
Yeah, give
guys.
a little happy robot musical. A little that started in
Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you so
Oh
much.
my God. Guys, this is, I know, this is the longest episode of the Scene podcast
I'm
history.
so sorry.
No.
weren't
It was
friends,
so
it
much
would've been so
fun.
much fun.
If we hated each other, it would go so much fun. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show. Ashley Hufford, Maggie Hill, Liz Gutridge. Guys, thank you so much. You can go follow them. All of their stuff, their tags and everything will be in our bios and everything or will be in the bio of the podcast and all that. And yes, please go follow them because they have the most wonderful theater takes. And watch the Tonys in just what, like a month?
1 month and 7 days.
1 month and
advertising out. They really
it comes
need
up tomorrow, so 1 month and 6 days,
days,
from the
6
time.
days.
If you're listening to this,
Not
when
to
it
make
comes out.
Justin make us do this again, but like we could also do a Tony's post show.
We could do a Tony's post show. That could be
Can
really
we do
fun.
that with like cocktails?
Wait, this could be the crew for whenever big things happen in the industry. It's just all playwright interviews, and then the 4 of us get together and just talk about a bunch
We
of
are
shit.
the round table.
We are the round table. The round table with somehow no power to make things happen. Yeah.
So many opinions.
all of the opinions.
I have zero power and so many.
Thank you guys so much for being here. And thank you all so much for listening. I do this thing at the end of every episode because we're called the Scene Podcast, where I go like, and scene. Like we're ending a scene. Do you guys want to do it with me?
Oh.
Okay, yeah. So ready? On the count of 3, we'll all just go, and scene. Okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. And scene. Perfect. Sweet. What an